हाय, गुड आफ्टरनून। आज क्या हो गया? आज कुछ कम लोग हो गया? कोई हॉलीडे है क्या? हाँ? अच्छा, इसीलिए भाग गए। तो यूपीएससी में तो 3 घंटे फिर 3 घंटे देखना होगा, आधे में भागना पड़ेगा तब तो। सो आई थिंक क्या, what was the last thing? I think we started Magad dynasty, but we didn't proceed it into the same. हाँ, we only wrote about the founder. So the very first dynasty that we talked about was your Haryanka. Haryanka. And the first ruler of this dynasty was Bimbisar that we have written. Okay? So Bimbisar was the ruler and he was there from 554. Okay? So his period was there from the starting from the 554 BC. 544 BC, not 54, 544 BC. ठीक है? So just 1 minute. No. See, एक बार what he is asking that do we need to remember the who were the rulers or who were not the rulers? ठीक है? And chronology of the same. हाँ, actually they will never ask you the chronology कि इसके बाद कौन आया, but period based questions are asked. You need to identify the period based question. So that period is important. So 544 to 492 he was there. 544 to 492 he was there, and he was the first most important and most powerful king of the Magad. Okay? Earlier, before that, this we talked about the Brihadrath and Jarasandh. So they were the kind of the founders, and their names has been mentioned in Mahabharata also. Okay? So Brihadrath and Jarasandh, they are the same people who founded the Magad. But this was carried forward by not carried forward, but this Magad became the most powerful under the Haryanka dynasty, and this was established by the Bimbisar. So Bimbisar, what was his particular approach towards making Magad most powerful? It was first thing that he did was the military conquest, and then second thing what he decided to do was your matrimonial alliances. Okay? So through these two kinds of policies, he expanded the territory of the Magad. So first was the military conquest, and then second was the matrimonial alliances. Though it was not possible to conquer every Mahajanpada through military conquest, okay? So whoever he felt that a little bit lesser in strength is there, so he defeated that guy to create a mahal of fear, okay? Environment of fear. And then on next one onwards, he went for the matrimonial alliances. And their matrimonial alliances doesn't mean that only one marriage, okay? 2-3 marriages used to happen. So Bimbisar married 3 ladies and from 3 places. So we discussed that this Kasi was the most powerful Mahajanpada. So the ruler of Kasi was Prasenjit, okay? And Prasenjit. So Prasenjit, so he married the sister of Prasenjit, Mahakosal Devi. Okay? Her name was Mahakosala Devi. So first marriage of Bimbisar with the Mahakosal Devi. Then he married to the Lichavi princess Chellana. Okay? She was the Lichavi princess Chellana. And here again we need to establish one link with the Mahavir. So Chellana was the sister of the Lichavi king Chetak. Okay? And he is the same Chetak whose daughter was Trishala. and Trishala is mother of Mahavir Jain. ठीक है? So Chetak's daughter, ठीक है? Chetak daughter was married to the Siddharth of the Gayantri clan, ठीक है? And Trishala is the mother of Mahavir Jain, and sister is married to the sister Chillana is married to the this Bimbisar, ठीक है? So it means that ki Mahavir was a kind of contemporary of this particular person, and also Buddha was also contemporary. Then further come to third lady that he married. So see, her name was Madara, ठीक है? And it was from Khema dynasty of Punjab. ठीक है? So these three marriages he did, and that's how he he expanded his territory. So Prashenajit, you see that in this Kasi region, in Banaras region, he expanded. Then Lichvi, the Lichvi is the central Bihar, okay? Central and northern Bihar. So central to northern Bihar, and then this one till Punjab. So that's how he expanded his territory. And through military conquest, he conquered one particular Mahajanpad, that was Ang. Okay? So he conquered Ang, and then through matrimonial alliances, he established relation with these three particular places. So you write, इसमें लिखो कि Bimbisar followed the policy of military conquest and matrimonial alliances for expanding the territory of Magad. Then further right, he defeated Brahmadat. Of Ang Mahajanpad. Brahmadat of Ang Mahajanpad. And established matrimonial alliance with Kasi, Lichvi and Madara. यहाँ पे उल्टा हो गया था. This one, the name of the lady is Khema and the place is Madara. ठीक है? तो Kasi, Lichvi and Madara. Khema is the name of the lady to which he married. Here, Khema. ठीक है? Madara was the particular region in the Punjab. ठीक है? And from this particular Madara region, Khema was the princess to whom he married. ठीक है? तो बस इतना लिखो कि you don't need to know all this name I have written. कहीं साइड में लिख सकते हो, लेकिन लिखना जरूरी नहीं है. ठीक है? It is just for your information. So he married this. He established the matrimonial alliances with these three places, and these three were the ladies. ठीक है? So Chillana, and then Mahakoshal Devi, and then this Madara, Khema. Okay? So they were the three princes. They were married to Bimbisar. Then further, he also, not just he followed the matrimonial alliance, but he was also very quick in his response towards the other dynasties. And what he did, that abide from the matrimonial alliance, he also extended the hands of friendship to few people. Okay? So extended hands of friendship. And how he extended, I'll explain. So basically there was, at that point of time, Ujjain Avanti was it was also one of the very powerful Mahajanpadas. Okay? And the ruler of the Ujjain was your Chanda Pradyot. Okay? Chanda Pradyot. So this ruler was from the Avanti, and he was also very powerful. And it was realized that Bimbisar cannot defeat him. But what happened, that this guy was suffering from jaundice. Okay? And there was a very good Vaidya in the dynasty of the Bimbisar, and his name was Jivak. Okay? He was very famous throughout all the Mahajanpadas. So he sent this Jivak to treat Chandra Pradyot, and that's how both establish a friendship treaty with each other. ठीक है, तो इसको भी लिखो कि Bimbisar extended hands of friendship to Avanti ruler Chandra Pradyot. To Avanti ruler Chandra Pradyot. CHANDANPRADYOTA. Chandra Pradyot. ठीक है. He sent his famous Vaidya Jivak. He sent his famous Vaidya Jivak to treat Avanti ruler from jaundice. To treat Avanti ruler from jaundice. Okay, so this was the one thing. Then one more very important thing, not very, I cannot say, but at least mention should be there. How many of you heard about the Ptolemy? P-T, हाँ, Ptolemy, ठीक है, सुना है? Ptolemy Epigraphius, ठीक है, हाँ, तो he is a geography, father of the geography. Ptolemy is the father of the geography, ठीक है, and he was the ruler of the Egypt at that point of time. He sent one ambassador to the Bimbisar dynasty, Bimbisar's kingdom. Okay? So you write Ptolemy Epigraphius. Ptolemy Epigraphius of Egypt. And he was the ruler of Egypt and Greek also, both the areas. Okay? So Greek and Egypt, Ptolemy Epigraphius of Greek and Egypt, sent one of his ambassadors to the court of Bimbisar. One of his ambassador to the court of Bimbisar. Court of Bimbisar. ठीक है? And one more thing, अगर जो पीछे बुद्धिज्म में नहीं हुआ हो तो उसको यहाँ पे सुन लो. This particularly 6th century BC, when Buddhism was also arising and foundation of this Mahajanpadas were laid, so this period is also known for the first Panchmark coins. ठीक है? So first Panchmark coins were released during this period and flourishment of the coinage system. उसके पहले coinage system was not there. Cowries were there. How many of you understand cowries? हाँ, कौड़ी. ठीक है? तो initially barter, ठीक है, barter to cowries, ठीक है, and after cowries was the coinage, ठीक है. So coinage system in India, we can first say that in the 6th century BC this coinage system was very well there, ठीक है, 6th century BC. So this is the time when this Mahajanpadas were there. तो पंचमार्क्ड coin arised in this period, ठीक है. So इसको भी लिख लो कि you write कि Panchmark's coin, Punchmarked, P-U-N-C-H, Punchmarked, ठीक है. हाँ, तो Punchmarked coins were also issued during this period. Issued during this period. Or one more word you need to write कि Bimbisar was the contemporary of the Buddha. ठीक है, तो Bimbisar was a contemporary of Buddha and he was also a very good friend of Buddha. And whenever Buddha was falling ill, तो that same guy Jivak used to treat the Buddha. ठीक है, so you write Bimbisar was the contemporary of Buddha. Was the contemporary of Buddha and also a very good friend. Also a very good friend of Buddha. ठीक है. तो अगेन फिर रिवाइज करते हैं what all we discussed in Bimbisar. ठीक है. तो what was in the Bimbisar, that he was the first ruler to establish this Haryanka dynasty. He was there from 544 to 492 BC, and then he established this. He expanded the Magadh territory through military conquest and matrimonial alliance. Military conquest, he defeated Anga ruler Brahmadatta. ठीक है. And this Anga was placed under his own son Ajatasattu. तो we'll be coming to that कि ये अंग को जीतने के बाद then his own son Ajatasattu was made the ruler, governor of this Ang. ठीक है. Then further through matrimonial alliances he established matrimonial alliances with the Kasi. Prasenajit's sister Mahakoshal Devi was married, and then Lichvi princess Chillana was married, and then Khema from the Madara dynasty of the Punjab, she was married. ठीक है. Then further, what we talked about that, this Ptolemy Epigraphius sent his ambassador, and he extended hand of friendship to the Chandapradyot of Avanti. ठीक है. And then Panchamarked points. So this was all from this one. Now you write, हाँ पूछो. Infer ये करना है कि it was a kind of the relationship or trade relationship was there between these two. Foreign kind of trade relationship we can infer only कि trade relationship was there from in between these two people. ठीक है. But उसका बहुत सारा it is there from the few of the coins and few of the things which were found over there in the Greek area. So हमारे पास बहुत information नहीं है. So only thing that we can infer is the trade and nothing else. ठीक है. So then further you write, आगे लिखो कि हाँ पंचमार्क कॉइन, फर्स्ट कॉइन्स वेर पंचमार्क कॉइन्स. ठीक है. उसके पहले काउरीज एंड काउरीज के पहले बार्टर. इवन एट द टाइम ऑफ द काउरीज, बार्टर एंड काउरीज गो हैंड इन हैंड. ठीक है. कि वो काउंटिंग का एक सिस्टम होता था काउरीज. ठीक है. हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं उसको, कौड़ी. ठीक है. सो दैट वाज देयर. देन फर्दर यू राइट, आफ्टर एक्वायरिंग Ang, it was placed under acquiring Ang. It was placed under Ajatashatru, 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 son of Bimbisar. ठीक है. Ajatashatru, son of Bimbisar. So Bimbisar was followed by Ajatasattu, and this guy Ajatasattu, so he was there from 492 to 460. Okay? So he was there from 492 to 460, and you already know that Third Buddhist Council was held under his leadership. He was the one who financed, patronized. So 492, not first one. Sorry. This was the first one. First Buddhist Council. 492 to 460 BC. So what happened that how Ajatasattu became the ruler? So you see that father का rule कब से था? 544 to 492. तो how many years? 44 here, 8 year. ठीक है? So कितना हो गया? 52 years. So he was kind of a person who was getting bored from the rule of his father. ठीक है. And he was always expecting कि बुढ़ा कब मरेगा. बुढ़ा मर नहीं रहा था. ठीक है. So he assassinated his own father. ठीक है. And he became the ruler. So that was the one thing that he assassinated his own father. इसको बहुत मन था कि मैं ruler बन जाऊं इधर का. So he assassinated his own father. But that led to so many things. ठीक है. So what happened when he assassinated his father? So he was the son of this Lichvi princess Chillana. ठीक है. He was the son of this Chillana. But what happened कि after that this guy Prasenjit, he started to protest. ठीक है. He started to protest, and even he declared a war against the this Ajatasattu. So what happened कि in this war he was able to defeat Prasenjit, but he didn't kill him. ठीक है. There was a reason behind that. Why he didn't kill him? Because the daughter of the Prasenjit was very beautiful. ठीक है. And her name was Vajira. So he just offered him कि मामा जी you gave your daughter to me, I'll leave you. ठीक है. So that's how the matrimonial alliance happened. So he married Vajira. ठीक है. And Then again, alliance between them was established. ठीक है? And the reason of the Prasenajit protesting was that कि after he assassinated his father, so that Mahakoshal Devi also died because of the shock that a son has killed a father. ठीक है? So she also died, and that led to the reaction from the Prasenajit. ठीक है? So that was the one thing. So you write कि Ajatashatru assassinated his father assassinated his father, which led to reaction from Prasenajit of Kasi. Prasenajit of Kasi. And he was the Mamaji, ठीक है? Prasenajit was the Mamaji, so he was able to defeat. हाँ, she was the sister. She was the sister. Vajira was the daughter, ठीक है? तो you write. So after that you write. क्या लिखा था कि? हाँ, reaction from the Prasenajit of the Kasi, ठीक है? So in the battle, Ajatashatru was able to defeat Prasenajit, and he married his daughter Vajira. ठीक है? So this was the one thing. Then further, after annexing this Kasi, ठीक है? Now come to this Lichavi. So here also, so what he did, that Lichavi was also there, and the mother of the Ajatashatru was from the Chillana, ठीक है? But he didn't left the Lichavi kingdom also. So Lichavi, एक बार इसके बारे में जानना जरूरी है, because Lichavi is the part of one of the Mahajanpad, Vajji, ठीक है? Vajji you have written yesterday, ठीक है? तो it is the, तो Vajji जो था, it was a kind of a confederacy, ठीक है? So confederacy, you know what is confederacy? हाँ, it means that कि many people used to be there, ठीक है? तो it was 8 confederacies were there, ठीक है? It was a 8 confederacy, and one of the confederacy was your Lichavi, ठीक है? Under the Vajjis. तो the capital of Lichavi was your Lichavi, or this Vajji was your Vaishali, ठीक है? So after defeating the this particular guy from the Kasi, he defeated and looted the city of Vaishali, ठीक है? And captured the whole city of Vaishali, and he captured, that's how he also captured the whole of the Vajji, ठीक है? So you write, Ajatashatru carried followed expansionist policy and annexed Vaishali during his tenure. ठीक है? Then one more thing that we need to know, that what was the capital of this particular Magad? Capital initially was the Girivraj, ठीक है? So initially Girivraj or Rajagriha was the capital, ठीक है? Girivraj or Rajagriha. Then this Ajatashatru, what he did, that he established one more capital at Patliputra, ठीक है? So he established one more capital at Patliputra, and it was called Girivraj. Rajagriha was called Girivraj because it was surrounded by 5 giris, ठीक है? Giri means 5 mountains, ठीक है? So that's why it was called as Girivraj. And then he shifted to the Patliputra, which is the present day Patna, ठीक है? So you write, earlier the capital, initially the capital was Girivraj or Rajagriha. But Ajatashatru shifted the capital to Patliputra. And what could be the region that can be assigned, that why he shifted the capital to the Patliputra? Because Patliputra was more strategic, ठीक है? On the confluence of the 2 rivers, Ganga and Son, ठीक है? So this was because of the strategic regions, ठीक है? So Patliputra. Then further, Few more things that we need to know about the Ajatashatru, that he was not just a kind of a aggressor, but he was a kind of innovator also. Okay? So he used to innovate in this particularly fights and wars that used to happen. So he was using two kinds of what I can say that a new innovation which was used in the chariot. So there was one tool which was called as Mahasilkantak. Okay? Mahasilkantak. And this Mahasilkantak was the war engine. Okay? This was the war engine. And there was one more, Ratha Musala. Okay? So, Rath Musla was what? That chariot, you know, Rath, or Rath ke upar, a mace was there which was kind of rotating. So, rotating mace on a Rath. Okay? So, this was a rotating mace on a Rath. Okay? Yeah, chariot. So, that you can see that what the, that movie he used. Okay? So that is a kind of version which was created by the movie. What was the name of the director of that movie? Rajmouli. Okay? So Rajmouli read these kind of concepts and then he created those kind of war engines and this Ratha Musala. Okay? So you write, Ajatashatru used few innovative tools in the fights, like Mahashilkantak, a war engine. And what was the work of this Mahasilkantak? This catapulted stones, okay? Which was a war engine which catapulted stones. और मूवी में क्या कर दिया वो coconut tree, ठीक है? These trees were used for the throwing. Part 1 में हाँ catapulting was there in the part 1 and in part 2 that second was there, ठीक है? So that's how he got the idea, ठीक है? So for catapulting stone, ठीक है? So you write war engine which was meant for catapulting stone. Catapulting stone, and Rath Musla, which was a rotating mace on a rath. Mace, you know na, gada. Okay? So that rotating mace on a rath. So this was from the Ajatashatru. That last, we cannot say last ruler, but next important ruler was your from this dynasty, Haryanka was your Udayin, and uske baad mein koi important ruler nahi tha. So next important ruler from this dynasty was Udayin, ठीक है? And he was there from 60 to 444 BC, ठीक है? So you write next important ruler from this dynasty was Udayin. Next important ruler from this dynasty was Udayin. And his only contribution of Udayin was that the capital, which was shifted by Ajatashatru, was constructed and beautified by Udayin. Okay? So you write, he constructed and beautified the city of Patliputra. He constructed and beautified the city of Patliputra. So this was there from this dynasty. And the next, after this dynasty, okay, so the last ruler of the Haryanka dynasty was, abhi likhna nahi, so the last ruler was Nagadasak, and in this particular ruler's dynasty, there was a kind of a minister who was there, and his name was Shishunag. Okay? So Shishunag, he was a minister in the Amatya in this dynasty, and he killed Nagadasak. And after killing Nagadasak, he established his own Shishunaga dynasty. And from this dynasty, we used to get two important rulers. One was Shishunag himself, and second was the Kalashok. Okay? So Kalashok was the one under whom the second Buddhist council was held. Okay? So he was the ruler. So you write that one of the ministers, दूसरी dynasty, and you change the paragraph, then you write. ठीक है? तो one of the ministers of Magad, one of the ministers of Magad killed the last ruler Nagadasak. Killed the last ruler Nagdasak, and he established his own Shishunaga dynasty. He established his own Shishunaga dynasty. Shishunaga dynasty, and this was established in 412. So it started from the 412, and he was there from the 412 to 344. Okay? So till 344 he was there. So 400 से 412 से 344. ठीक है? Then what was the contribution of this guy Shishunaga? So his contribution is that earlier the kind of friendship relation which was there between the Avanti and Magad, he conquered Avanti. He defeated the ruler of Avanti and he conquered Avanti. Okay? So you write Shishunaga defeated and conquered Avanti. Defeated and conquered Avanti. He defeated and conquered Avanti. And then not just he defeated and conquered, then again capital shifting बहुत होता था. Magad is the one Mahajanpad where a lot much capital shifting was there. So what he did, that he shifted capital from Patliputra to Vaishali. Okay? So he shifted capital from Patliputra to Vaishali. So you write, he also shifted the capital from Patliputra to Vaishali. Patliputra to Vaishali. And one thing that you need to remember, that both Haryanka dynasty and this is Shishunaga, both are the Kshatriya dynasty. Okay? So both were the Kshatriyas. So further you write, Shishunaga was followed by Kalashok. Shishunaga was followed by Kalashok. Shishunaga was followed by Kalashok, who is known for patronizing Second Buddhist Council, who is known for patronizing Second Buddhist Council and reshifting of the capital from Vaishali to Patliputra. So again, status quo maintained. ठीक है? So Vaishali to Patliputra. तो फिर वापस उसी same capital पे. So Patliputra to Vaishali. ठीक है? Then one interesting thing happened in this Kalashok period. And what was that interesting thing? That Kalashok, so this Kalashok, he was a kind of that he established a kind of extramarital affairs with one Sudra lady. Okay? So there was a kind of this, kept was there. We used to call it kept. So one kept was there, and she was a Shudra. So out of that Kalashok and that Sudra lady, one particular son was born, and his name was your Mahapadmanand. Okay? So Mahapadmanand was born, and when he presented his case before the Kalashok, okay? When he presented his case before Kalashok, that like N.D. Tiwari's son, I am also your son. ठीक है, so you please accept me, ठीक है. So he denied that thing because it was against the pride of the Kshatriyas. So he denied that thing, and then he took one resolve, ठीक है. He took one resolve to eliminate not just Kalasuk but all the Kshatriyas from the planet Earth, ठीक है. And he was somehow he was able to defeat most of the Kshatriyas at that point of time. So he killed them, ठीक है, and he established his own dynasty, which is the Nanda dynasty and first non-Kshatriya dynasty of the Magad, ठीक है. And then after, he didn't stop over there. He not just defeated the Kshatriyas, but also at that point of time, you see that there was a collusion between the Kshatriyas and Buddhism. So Kshatriyas were either, they were Buddhist also, they were Kshatriyas also. So he also took resolve to eliminate the Buddhists from this country, ठीक है. So he started to destroy the Buddhist monasteries, ठीक है. He started to destroy Buddhist monasteries and also he started to kill Buddhists, ठीक है. So these all were the few of the important things which happened in this period, and because of this aggressive policy, he was known as the Ekarat or Ugrasen, ठीक है. So because of this aggressive stance, he was known as this, ठीक है. Then further we will talk about the cavalry or army which was there in this period, ठीक है. So you write, next important dynasty was the Nanda dynasty. And this was from 344 to 23. 344 to 23. So Nanda dynasty. It was established by Mahapadmanand. Mahapadmanand. ठीक है. Full stop. Then you write, who is said to have taken the resolve. Mahapadmanand, who is said to have taken the resolve to eliminate. Who is said to have taken the resolve to eliminate all the Kshatriyas. Then you write, he also killed the Buddhists. And destroyed many Buddhist monasteries. ठीक है. So this was the one thing. Then further write, due to this aggressive stance, Mahapadmanand was also known as Ekarat or Ugrasen. Ekarat or Ugrasen, ठीक है. Then you write, he also conquered the province of Mahajanpad of Kosla. He also conquered the Mahajanpad of Kosla and province of Kalinga, ठीक है. So Kalinga was not the Mahajanpad, it was a province, ठीक है. So province of Kalinga, ठीक है. So that much he conquered. Then the last important ruler, ठीक है. Next important ruler, or you can say the last important ruler, was the Dhananand of this dynasty, ठीक है. So next important ruler was your Dhananand. And this Dhananand, so during this Dhananand's time, so what was there, in this period, when Mahapadmanand became the ruler, so he focused on establishing a large standing army. Okay? And this large standing army was at the climax at this Dhananand period. Okay? So it is said that ki more than 6 lakh foot soldiers were there, and then 30,000 this cavalries were there. Cavalry, you know, na? Ghudsavar. Okay? And then around 3,000 elephants were there in the army of the Dhananand. Okay? So this time when Dhananand was the ruler, so from the western side, Alexander was approaching India. Okay? At this point of time. And when Alexander got to know about his army, so he was stopped by this, particularly Dhananand, at the banks of river Byas. Okay? And he was stopped at the river Byas, and he never ventured southwards towards the Byas river. Okay? So this happened in the Dhananand period. But again, he was having the large standing army, but that was of no use when Dhananand was defeated by the Chandragupta. Okay? And that defeat was because of the Chanakya. Okay? Vishnugupta. Okay? So you write. So the last important ruler of Nanda dynasty, the last important ruler of Nanda dynasty was Dhananand. Dhananand, who established a very large standing army. Who established a very large standing army. Who established a very large standing army. Okay? Full stop, then you write. In 326, Alexander, in 326 BC, Alexander moved towards the Indian territory. Moved towards the Indian territory, but he was stopped. He was stopped at the banks of river Byas. But he was stopped at the banks of river Byas by Dhananand. Okay? Full stop. Then you write about the how he was defeated. So you write, so despite having a large standing army, Dhananand was defeated and killed by Chandragupta Maurya. Defeated and killed by Chandragupta Maurya. Okay. So Chandragupta Maurya defeated, and then how he was able to defeat the this one. Maurya. So he was able to defeat this one because of this guy. And what is the name of the person? Vishnugupta. Okay? So Vishnugupta, and later he was known as the Chanakya. But before Chanakya, he was also known as something. What is the name of that? Kautilya. Okay? So Kautilya and Chanakya is the modern connotation. It was not the name that was given at that point of time. At that point of time, he was either known as Kautilya or Vishnugupta. Okay? So that was his original name. So this Vishnugupta, he devised a political mechanization. Okay? And due to that political mechanization, मतलब षड्यंत्र, ठीक है? So that षड्यंत्र led to the defeat of the this Dhananand in this battle. And that political mechanization was not written till thousands of years. ठीक है? तो 1000 साल तक उसको किसी ने लिखा नहीं था. But by the 8th century, ठीक है? 8th century, there was one writer, ठीक है? Whose name was you have read about him, Vishakha Dutt. Okay? So he wrote in the book, and name of the book is Mudra Rakshas. Okay? So this political mechanization is written in this book, Mudra Rakshas. Okay? Ki how he was able to defeat and what kind of mechanization was there. So you write ki Chandragupta was able to defeat Chandragupta was able to defeat Nandas. Chandragupta was able to defeat Nandas because of the active support, because of the active support, and because of the active support and political mechanization, active support and political mechanization devised by Chanakya, devised by Chanakya, विष्णुगुप्त और कौटिल्य, तीनों नाम लिखना, ठीक है? तो डिवाइस बाय चाणक्य, विष्णुगुप्त और कौटिल्य, विष्णुगुप्त, कौटिल्य और चाणक्य, which is elaborated in the book, which is elaborated in the book Mudra Rakshas, Mudra Rakshas by Vishakha Dutt, by Vishakha Dutt. Vishakha Dutt, ठीक है? So this was the what happened, and then he established his own dynasty in the Magad, ठीक है? So by Vishakha Dutt, and then for the right, Chandragupta established the Maurya dynasty in the Magad. So Chandragupta established Maurya dynasty in Magad, and this was around 321. So that happened around 321. 321 BC. Okay? So then what happened that you see that in this part of India, that over here, Byas River can be said to be over here. Okay? So this Punjab region, over here it can be said. So this area was not under the Chandragupta Maurya. This Byas River, and whose area was this? Alexander's. Okay? So this area belonged to the Alexander. And in this period, what happened that Alexander, when Alexander, he returned from this place to his original place, that is Greece. So he deputed one of his governor. His name was Seleucus Nicator. Okay? So Seleucus Nicator, again this guy tried to move from this place to this area. Okay? To try to cross this Byas River. So again he was defeated by Seleucus Nicator, Chandragupta Maurya. But in this fight, he didn't kill, and they established a kind of friendship treaty with each other. Okay? And in this friendship treaty, this Seleucus Nicator ceded this part of the province to Mauryas, and also some parts of Afghanistan to Mauryas, and also the Sindh province to the Mauryas. Okay? So that's how the expansion west of the river Indus. Okay? So you write ki, in 305 BC, in 305 BC, Chandragupta had to fight with the Greek governor, Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus, Seleukos, Seleucus Nicator, had to fight with Seleucus Nicator. In which Chandragupta defeated Nicator. Okay? Then you write, Nicator ceded the province of, Nicator ceded, मतलब दे दिया, ठीक है? So CEDED, ceded the province of Afghanistan, ceded the province of Afghanistan, Sindh, Afghanistan, Sindh, and area lying west of river Indus. Area lying west of river Indus to Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya. Okay? Then you write about the friendship treaty. So you write, a friendship treaty got established between the two. a friendship treaty got established between the two. और उस टाइम पे फ्रेंडशिप ट्रीटी में होता क्या था? हाँ, शादी होती. एक्चुअली यू आर राइट. सो यू आर वेरी राइट. So शादी ही होता था. So in the books what is written that a matrimonial kind of alliance also happened, and it is not known that who married whose daughter to whom. ठीक है? But according to the Indian historians it is that कि Niketar married his own daughter to the this Chandragupta Maurya. ठीक है? So you write when friendship treaty, then further you write matrimonial alliance also happened between the two. Matrimonial alliance also happened between the two. Between the two का मतलब चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य सेल्यूसियस निकेटर नहीं, their kingdoms. ठीक है? So their kingdoms. Then further right. तो एक और चीज, one more development happened in this period that this Nicator. So there was one Greek ambassador. ठीक है? In the Seleucus Nicator rule. So that Greek ambassador was sent to the Chandragupta Maurya court, and the name of the guy was your Megasthenes. ठीक है? So Megasthenes, and he came into the court of the Chandragupta Maurya, and he lived over there 10-15 years in the Chandragupta Maurya court. And after coming to the Chandragupta Maurya court, he wrote one book about the Mauryan rule. So what was the name of the book? Indica. ठीक है? So you can write C also, you can write K also, both are correct. So you write Nicator deputed a Greek ambassador. Nicator deputed a Greek ambassador Megasthenes in the court of Maurya. In the court of Maurya. Court of Maurya. Full stop. Then you write, who wrote an elaborate account. Who wrote an elaborate account of the socio-economic condition in the Maurya's period. In the Maurya's period, in his work, in the Maurya's period, in his work, Indica. In his work, Indica. ठीक है? Yesterday, not related to this, somebody died from this Jinnah family. Did you read that? Dina Wadia. Dina Wadia. ठीक है? Daughter of the Jinnah died. ठीक है? Dina Wadia, and she is the grandmother of the Nes Wadia. Nes Wadia, you know? At least, हाँ, Kings 11 Punjab he knows. ठीक है? Many of you know Kings 11 Punjab. Many of know Preeti Zinta. ठीक है? So Nes Wadia. So actually, Nes Wadia is the son of the Nasli Wadia, and Nasli Wadia is the founder of the Bombay dyeing. ठीक है? So they are the people who are this, and they are the Parsis. So basically, this lady, she revolted against his family, Dina Wadia, when she was there. So around 1930s, she fell in love with the this guy, Neville Wadia. ठीक है? Neville Wadia was the guy, and she married in the 1938, and she was discarded by her family. अभी news भी था इस family से, Jinnah house. Did you read in the book? Not Hindu में था, काफी elaborately. That magazine में पूरा वो beach वाला portion दिया हुआ था. That Jinnah house. So basically, she married to this this guy, and she was discarded by her own family. And when Jinnah asked that India में सारे मुस्लिम लड़के मर गए कि तुम एक पारसी से शादी कर रही हो? This was the question that he asked. तो she asked कि इंडिया में के सारी मुस्लिम लड़कियां मर गई थी कि तुमने एक पारसी लेडी से शादी की. He also married a Parsi lady. ठीक है? So yes. So that was the reaction of her, and Ratit Wadia. No. Ratit was the name of the lady whom he married. ठीक है? So this was the reaction, and Jinnah said that you go and you establish your own. ठीक है? So he discarded her, and then she married him, and then she was all the time she was living in the New York. Recently he died, but when government of India said that the Jinnah house which is there in the Mumbai, so it is a evacuee property. Evacuee property, you know, मतलब इसका कोई भी heir नहीं है, उत्तराधिकारी नहीं है. तो when it declared, so she came to India, and she filed this petition that now this house belongs to me. But Jinnah ने originally उस house को क्या लिखा था? It belonged to the Fatima, sister of Jinnah. She was the only daughter of the Jinnah. She was the only daughter of the Jinnah. No other child is there. So Fatima. So that is also related to the enemy property bill. मैं ऐसे नहीं डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज एनिमी प्रॉपर्टी बिल विच केम लास्ट ईयर, तो इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि फिर से दोबारा एनिमी प्रॉपर्टी बिल एक बार देख लेना, ठीक है, बिकॉज जिन्ना कम्स अंडर दैट डिस्क्रिप्शन एनिमी प्रॉपर्टी बिल. देयर वॉज अ चेंज इन दिस एनिमी प्रॉपर्टी बिल when UPA was there, and there was the change in this one thing also. But the present government is trying that ki this particular house should be made the Indian Museum. And actually the house name was not the Jinnah house. Originally it was the South Club. The original name was the South Club. But when Jinnah bought it and he started to live, so it was named as the Jinnah house. Okay? But she is not the original heir of that. Because Jinnah didn't wrote about the same. She wrote it to the Fatima. He didn't give it to this Dina. So yesterday she died, I think. So where I was? हम लोग कहाँ पे थे? इंडिका से हम लोग इंडिगो में चले गए. So where I was? तो इंडिका. So he wrote about this Indica. He wrote about the socio-economic condition in this book Indica. ठीक है? Then further, you already know that. हाँ पूछो. Which one? Jawar fast. हाँ, they were there. No, I said कि last most important ruler. ठीक है, वी डोंट नीड टू नो अबाउट द ऑल द, क्योंकि ना बीच में अगर तुम ऐसे देखोगे ना तो जब विजयनगर, व्हेन यू विल बी गोइंग अबाउट द विजयनगर ना, नियर अबाउट 24 रूलर्स आर देयर, 24 रूलर्स आर. दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू रिमेंबर. हाँ 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 हाँ, दैट यू कैन ऑलवेज. ओके ओके ओके, ठीक है, अच्छा, दैट वाज देयर. सो आई मे बी मुझे क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है कि तुम मतलब क्या कन्वे करना चाह रहे हो, but we can discuss it after the class. ठीक है? So this is there. Then further you come over here. बीच में discussion में क्या होता है ना कि you have your own mind is occupied with a few things and वो निकलने में थोड़ा time लगता है. So where I was, Niketer, and then where Chandragupta Maurya. So you already know that Chandragupta Maurya accepted Jainism. ठीक है? हम लोगों ने लिखा है वहाँ पे कि he accepted Jainism and he did one that particular penance. What was the name of that penance? Salekhana or Santhara. ठीक है? तो in around 297, Chandragupta Maurya died, and in this period, what happened? कि he abdicated his throne for his son, and name of the son was your Bindusar. ठीक है? So confuse मत होना बिंदुसार और बिंबिसार में. ठीक है? Maybe वो story भी बताया होगा कि why his name was बिंदुसार. नहीं बताया मैंने इस क्लास में. नहीं बताया. See, Bimbisar was the founder of the very first, and Bindusar was the ruler from the Maurya dynasty. How will we be remembering the same? Because when this Chanakya was there, Kautilya was there. So Kautilya was always in the favor of Brahmanical things. He was a Brahmana, and he was always in the favor of Brahmanical thing and Hinduism. But when he saw that Chandragupta Maurya was inclining towards the Jainism, and he was also respecting the wishes of the Ajivika and Buddhism. Okay? So this led to a kind of furious reaction from the Kautilya. Okay? And what he did, कि he thought that कि पूरा राजपाट चौपट हो जाएगा. So in this way, he started to give little bit poison to the Chandragupta Maurya. In his food, he started to mix little bit poison so that if he could die, and the brother of the Chandragupta Maurya, who was the governor of the Gujarat at that point of time, his name was Pushyagupta. Okay? So he could be made as the ruler. Okay? So he started to give. Meanwhile, what happened? Ki in between, he was born. Bindusar was born. So when Bindusar was born, there was a kind of a treaty between the Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya. So Chandragupta Maurya said that, "ठीक है, you have got your prince, but let me accept Jainism, and I need to go away. ठीक है? I'll abdicate the throne." So then Kautilya allowed him, and he abdicated the throne, and he went to the Karnataka. But what happened when this child was born? So his body was पूरा का पूरा, it was poisonous, ठीक है? And it became blue, ठीक है? Because of the poison that was there in the Chandragupta Maurya got transferred into the womb, ठीक है? So whole body was blue, and then this Chanakya was a kind of that कि बहुत परेशान हो गया, and then he brought one more that Vaidya, okay, and one very famous Vaidya of the Maurya's dynasty, and that Vaidya concentrated the poison at one point in the forehead, okay. So he concentrated that over here in the forehead, and that's how he was named as the Bindusar, okay. So that is the story, that how this name came into being, and then he became the ruler, okay. So the most influential person in this Maurya dynasty till Bindusar was the Kautilya. It was not the king who was the most influential. He used to take all the decisions. Okay. So you write कि in 299, Bindusar succeeded the throne. Succeeded the throne, and Chandragupta Maurya went to Karnataka, and Chandragupta Maurya went to Karnataka, नहीं श्रवण बेलगोला लिखना है specifically, ठीक है, श्रवण बेलगोला in Karnataka to perform Sallekkhana. श्रवण बेलगोला in Karnataka to perform Sallekkhana. Sallekkhana, ठीक है. Shravan Belgola. Then further, this Bindusar, so Bindusar, he also established kind of trade relations with the Greek people. Okay? So he also established the trade relations with the Greek people, but he was very offensive towards the foes. Okay? Enemies ke prati, he was very offensive. So these Greeks who were there, with whom he was having a very good kind of relation, so they used to call him Amitrochet. ठीक है. सो अमित्रोचेट्स का मतलब होता था उस टाइम की डिस्ट्रॉयर ऑफ द फू, एंड इट वाज आल्सो नोन एज अमित्रघात. ठीक है. सो जो मित्र नहीं है उसके साथ घात करो. ठीक है. सो ही वाज आल्सो नोन एज अमित्रघात और डिस्ट्रॉयर ऑफ द फू. सो फर्स्ट यू राइट Bindusar established trade relation with Greece and Rome. And he was called as Amitrochats. He was called as Amitrochat or Amitraghat by the Greeks. Amitrochat or Amitraghat by Greeks, which means destroyer of the foes. Okay. Then he was the one person who extended the Mauryan territory till south. Okay. So you write कि Bindusar extended the Mauryan territory in south. Mauryan territory in south. Okay. So this was there in the there from the Bindusar, and he was succeeded by his own son Ashoka. Okay. So he was succeeded by, and there was a kind of a period of a pause in between that ki 2-3 साल के लिए there was no ruler. ठीक है. So when Bindusar died, तो 2-3 साल there was no ruler. There was a fight between the sons of the Bindusar. ठीक है. So there are many stories that Ashoka killed 100 of his own brothers. ठीक है. And then he became the ruler. So that we don't need to write, but at that point of time, where Ashoka was placed in this kingdom. So Ashoka was placed in the Peshawar area of that kingdom. Okay? So he was the governor of the Peshawar area, and then Peshawar is the present day Peshawar, but Takshashila or Gandhar of that period of time. So he was placed, and then he moved towards the Magad and he killed his own brothers, and then he established his own rule. Then you know that who established the city of Srinagar? Yes, it was Ashoka who established the city of Srinagar. Okay. So that is one amazing thing that you know, that it was not established by anybody, but he established the city of Srinagar. Okay? When he was the governor of the Takshashila or Gandhar, so he established this Srinagar. Okay? So you write that the next ruler was Asoka, who ascended the throne in 269 BC. Ascended the throne in 269 BC. Earlier, he was placed as governor of Takshashila. Earlier, he was placed as governor of Takshashila. Earlier, he was placed as governor of Takshashila. Okay? So, related to Asoka, we have talked a lot. Okay? What are the things that we have talked about the Asoka? Administration baki hai, but abhi cultural things we have talked a lot, and we have talked about this military conquest. We have already talked about this Kalinga war, okay? And then rock edict. So rock edict में few things you need to write, वो लिखवा दूंगा. But Dhamma we have talked about. Then stupa and pillars and everything we have talked about. Okay? So we will talk about the administration of the Mauryas. उसके पहले लिख लो कि information, from where we get the information about the Asoka's period. Okay? So you write the information about Asoka's period can be traced from the 33 rock edicts, inscriptions and pillars. Okay? So mainly these are the sources from which we get the information about the Asoka. Okay? Did we talk about the Devanam Piyadasi? No, we didn't talk about. Okay? So Devanam Piyadasi, I'll talk over here. So 33 rock edicts, inscription and pillar. Then further right, these rock edicts and inscriptions, were written in Brahmi, Kharosti, Greek and Aramaic. Brahmi, Kharosti, Greek and Aramaic. तो ये स्क्रिप्ट है. This is a script. It was written in this script. ठीक है? So this is the script. You are able to differentiate between the script and the language, ना? कि what is script and what is language. ठीक है? So this was the script. And what could be the language? Language क्या होगा? So these देखो, Greek and Aramaic, they are the language also, they are the script also. But this is just a script and this is just a script. What will be the language? Pali was not there, it was Prakrit. Okay? For Pali it was used, Brahmi was used, but at that point of time Prakrit was the language. Okay? So you write in Prakrit, Greek and Aramaic language. So इस type का question थोड़ा confusing बना के UPSC दे सकता है. They can give, then they will give you the name of the script, और script में they will write Prakrit and these two. ठीक है? So they can change the things. ठीक है? तो you must be aware, open about this, that script is the Brahmi, Kharosti, Greek and Aramaic, and then language is the Prakrit, Greek and Aramaic. ठीक है? Aramaic is your present day Arab languages originated from the Aramaic. And Greek languages, English, Greek and Latin Greek is the one which gave origin to the English, okay? And other Russian, other things, okay? Then, northwestern, we can say northwestern part, pura Europe you can say, okay? And then niche wala part from Turkey onwards, you can say that was the Aramaic. ठीक है. And then Brahmi, already know, Brahmi Kharosti was practiced in the Pakistan area only, and Brahmi was practiced in the eastern side of India. ठीक है. So these were there. So Devanam Piyadasi we need to talk about that in one of the rock edicts, and Asoka has described himself as a Devanam Piyadasi. ठीक है. Which means beloved of the god. ठीक है. So he declared himself as the. And where was this particular Devanam Piyadasi which was written? Rimindei. Okay? So, beloved of the gods. So you write, in one of the rock inscription at Rimindei, beloved of the gods, and you write the name of the inscription also. Rock inscriptions of Riumin Dei. Rock inscription of Riumin Dei. In one of the rock inscription of Rumindei, and Rumindei is the present day Lumbini. Okay? So it is present day Lumbini. Okay? So this is present day Lumbini. Then you write, Asoka described him as a Devanam Piyadasi. Asoka described him as a, and related to the same, there was one question. So first you write, Asoka described himself as a Devanam Piyadasi, which means Asoka described himself as Devanam Piyadasi, which means beloved of the gods. Which means beloved of the gods. Okay? Beloved of the gods. And who inferred this particular inscription? James Prinsep. Okay? So that was the question which was asked. 2016 na? Or 15? 16. 2016, 15. So in 2015 it was asked. So you write, this was written in Prakrit and Brahmi script. इसको भी लिख लो और James Prinsep का नाम भी लिख लो, ठीक है? तो this was written in Brahmi script and Prakrit language, which was deciphered by James Prinsep. James Prinsep in 1837. Prinsep in 1837. James Prinsep in 1837. So this was the one which was asked कि he was a kind of, क्या बोलते हैं इन लोग को जो inscriptions को पढ़ते हैं? जियोग्राफर्स तो ऐसे सबको बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है? देयर यूज्ड टू बी लेक्सिकोग्राफर्स, कार्टोग्राफर्स, ठीक है? आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट, लेक्सिकोग्राफर आई थिंक, एक बार कंफर्म कर लेना क्या बोलते हैं, ठीक है? बिकॉज दिस ईयर कॉइन्स की स्टडी का नेम दिया है क्वेश्चन में, न्यूमिस्मैटिक्स, ठीक है? सो वी विल टॉक अबाउट द सेम, विल डिस्कस दिस क्वेश्चन इफ टाइम अलाउज, तो आज ही हम उसको डिस्कस करेंगे कि व्हाट वाज द क्वेश्चन दिस ईयर इन द मेंस. So this was the Asoka's, how we used to get information. So we need to know about the little bit about the last ruler of this dynasty. ठीक है? So you write, पहले लिखो नहीं, पहले सुन लो, ठीक है? तो after Asoka, his two, three more rulers were there, and the last ruler of this dynasty was your Brihadrath. ठीक है? So Brihadrath was the last Maurya ruler who was killed by his own minister Pushyamitra Sung. ठीक है? And Pushyamitra Sung was he was a Brahman. ठीक है? And what about the Mauryas? Who were the Mauryas? They belonged to the Maurya tribe. ठीक है? तो Mauryas were from the Maurya tribe. They were non-Kshatriya dynasty. They can be, there are many theories. हाँ, Buddhism में अलग है. Buddhism used to say, एक बार सुन लो, इसको लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. So Buddhists used to say that they are the clans of the Sakas. ठीक है? And in Jainism they used to say they are the clans of the Maurya tribe. ठीक है? So different kind of interpretation is there, but this one is true that they belong to this Maurya tribe and they were the non-Kshatriyas. ठीक है? So they were kind of non-Kshatriyas. And then the last ruler of this was your Brihadrath. ठीक है? And he was killed by Pushyamitra Sung, his own minister. ठीक है? तो you write, the last ruler of Maurya was Brihadrath, who was killed by who was killed by his military general, who was killed by his military general Pushyamitra Sung, who was killed by his military general Pushyamitra Sung in 185 BC. In 185 BC. 185 BC. Okay? So 185 BC, and you also write he established his own Brahmin Sunga dynasty. He established his own Brahmin Sunga dynasty. Okay? Then we need to talk about the administration of the Mauryas. Okay? So central administration and judiciary and few other features of the Maurya. Okay? So few other features. So first we'll talk about the central administration. Okay? So central administration of the Mauryas. ठीक है? So you write, लिखो, क्योंकि हमें लिखना बहुत है, 2 ही classes हैं, ठीक है? So even I don't have a scope. So you write, the central administration of Mauryas, the central administration of Mauryas was based on Saptang. Was based on Saptang. Saptang. And what is the Saptang? 7 organs. Okay? So 7 organs. And who will be the head of this Saptang? King. Okay? So king was known as Swami. Okay? So was based on Saptang. And then you write Swami, which means king. Okay? Then after saying Swami, who will be the next? Ministers. Okay? So ministers were known as Amatya. Amatya. Okay? Amatya were the ministers. After ministers, who would be there? The territory. Okay? So next is your Janpad. Territory. Okay? Then after territory, you write Durg, which is fort. Durg is the fort. 4 हो गया. And then 3 more. So you write Durg के बाद then treasury is also important. So what was the name given to treasury? Kos. हाँ. So Kos was the treasury. Treasury. ठीक है? And then army is the next important. Bal. So Bal is army. And the last one is Mitra, is ally. So Mitra, ally. हाँ बोलो.
कार्तिक ने बहुत अच्छा थ्योरी दिया इस पे. डिफीट होते हैं किसी एनिमी से तो सरेंडर नीचे से करना चाहिए.
What does it mean? मतलब हाँ पहले एलाई को बना लो. ठीक है. हाँ. That was even we'll talk about that severe kind of things which used to Samadam, Dandabhed also. Severe punishment were there. Then Guptachars were also there. We are going to talk about the same. Okay? So these were the Saptang. Okay? Then you write what was the division of this territory? How it was divided? Janpadas were there. This was divided into the several Janpadas, and there were the ministers placed under that. Okay? So आगे लिखो कि there also used to exist one city superintendent known as Nagarika. City superintendent known as Nagarika. ठीक है? तो जो नगर का लॉ एंड ऑर्डर अफेयर होता था, दैट वाज मेड बाय हिम. ठीक है? देन यू राइट अबाउट द स्पाइस व्हिच वर देयर. ठीक है? सो you write Kautilya maintained a very good apsinage system. ठीक है? Maintained apsinage, you know ना? Apsinage नहीं पता है, साइबर क्राइम्स में पढ़ोगे तुम लोग. Very good apsinage. हाँ, Kautilya maintained a very good apsinage or system of network of spies. Epsinage or network of spies. Epsinage maintained a very good epsinage system or network of spies, and these spies were known as Guptachars they used to call, who were known as the Guptachars. Okay? Who were known as the Guptachars. And many places it is written as Gaudhesak. Okay? So Gaudhesak is also correct and Guptachar is also correct. Okay? So Guptachars. So this is how he was able to know about every bits and pieces, whatever that was happening in the territory, he was knowing about the everything. Okay? And that's how he was able to put a hold on the king also. Okay? So that was the one thing. Then you write कि judiciary was based on 4 things. Judiciary और judicial decisions भी लिख सकते हो. Judiciary और judicial decisions were based on 4 things. And what are that 4 things? So you write, first one is your dharma. Then charit, vyavhar, and Raj Sashan. Okay? So judiciary or judicial decisions were based on dharma, charit, vyavhar, and Raj Sashan. So what is this dharma? What is responsibility of the one? Okay? So it is according to the responsibility. Dharma is the responsibility, it is not the religion. Okay? तो उसमें आगे लिखना dharma is the responsibility. Then what about charit? Customs. No, customs. Okay? So charits are the customs and tradition. Okay? And vyavhar is your legal codes, current legal codes which were written during that period. So vyavhar is current legal codes. Legal code भी सही है, करंट नहीं भी जोड़ोगे तो भी सही रहेगा. ठीक है. एंड देन राज शासन, यू ऑलरेडी नो, रॉयल डिक्री. ठीक है. तो राज शासन मीन्स राजा का आदेश. तो यू कैन राइट ओवर हियर रॉयल डिक्री. ठीक है. सो वट एवर king used to decide. अच्छा, so Kautilya wrote Arthashastra. ठीक है. And Arthashastra talks about the administration of this period. ठीक है. He doesn't talks about the fights and other things, but he talks about the economy and administration of this period. ठीक है. How to maintain that. It was a kind of a prescriptive book. ठीक है. It was not a narrative book. Difference समझना. Arthashastra was not a narrative book, but it was a prescriptive book. What does it mean? Narrative means कि it tells a story. So there was nowhere there was a story. No story is there and nothing related to that is there. But only what a king should do, that is written in this particular book. And the similar to that book was written in the Greek area also. What is the name of that book which is very similar to the Kautilya's Arthashastra? You'll be reading in the ethics paper. अभी start होने वाला है तुम लोग के classes. तो what have you heard about that name? Who was the writer and who could be that? Prince was the name of the book and writer was the Machiavelli. ठीक है. So Machiavelli Prince can be considered as the similar book of the Arthashastra, as similar to the Arthashastra. तो अभी लिखेंगे उसको बाद में. So first you write कि there was a severe punishment. There was a system of severe punishment. There was a system of severe punishment in case of corruption, theft, forgery. In case of corruption, theft, forgery, duping, etc. In the Maurya administration. And what they used to say, what was the particular word which was used to convey this same thing? Samadam, दंड भेद, ठीक है. So that was the one thing. लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, but you already know. So that was there. Then few things about the welfare measures which were taken in this period, ठीक है. So paragraph change करके लिखना. For the public welfare, proper hospitals were established. Proper hospitals were established. Proper hospitals were established with permanent bhesaj. With permanent bhesaj. And bhesaj is who? Doctor. So doctors were known as the bhesaj. ठीक है? With permanent bhesaj. BHESAJS. With permanent bhesaj. ठीक है? तो ये डॉक्टर्स होते थे. ठीक है? Then further, canals were also digged for the irrigation. Canals and wells. Canal and well. Canal and well were also digged for irrigation. Were also digged for irrigation. ठीक है? Then you write, there was a special category of land. There was a special category of agricultural land लिखना, ठीक है? So there was a special category of agricultural land known as Sita lands. Sita lands. There was a particular category of the agricultural lands known as Sita lands, which belonged to the royal house. Which belong to the royal house. ठीक है? मतलब this land belongs to the Raja. ठीक है? And income from this land will go to the royal treasury. ठीक है? So belong to the royal house. And you write, it was placed under a officer. It was placed under a officer known as Sita Dhyach. Sita Dhyach. Known as Sita Dhyach. ठीक है? तो this can become the question, सीता अध्यक्ष और सीता लैंड. ठीक है? तो सीता लैंड इज द रॉयल लैंड एंड यहां पे होता क्या है? एग्रीकल्चरल एक्टिविटीज एंड इनकम गोज टू द रॉयल ट्रेजरी एंड देन सीता अध्यक्ष इज द हेड ऑफ दिस सीता लैंड. ठीक है? सो दिस वाज ऑल फ्रॉम द मौर्यास एंड देन आफ्टर दैट वी विल स्टार्ट दिस पोस्ट मौर्य. सो So this was all from the Mauryas. And then what happened after this period? So already we have discussed a little bit about the same in the art and culture. And the next was your post-Maurya period. So here we are going to see the post-Maurya period. Post-Maurya period. And why it was called as the post-Maurya period? अब एक बार फिर से बताओ. हाँ, multiple rulers were there. ठीक है? तो few of them were indigenous and few are there foreigners. ठीक है? So India got divided into the many pieces. ठीक है? So in south someone other was ruling. In north one other was there. Deccan कोई और था. In Gujarat someone other was there. So this is why it is called as the post-Maurya. Many a times you will see a question that this was as similar to the dark period of the world history. ठीक है? So ऐसा comparison करने के लिए देते हैं. ठीक है? World history की classes done? चल रहे हैं ना? तो उसमें dark ages. अच्छा क्या क्या पढ़ा है अभी? Just अच्छा you have started this one. तो not Renaissance period. ठीक है? तो Renaissance में there was one that dark ages. ठीक है? And that dark age was known for the. I'll give you the break. आज break देंगे formally. ठीक है? Because we need to extend the classes. तो अभी मत जाओ, सुन लो. तो dark ages में क्या था? पहले लेसन इसको सुन लो बिकॉज दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट. आई थिंक एक बार सर से भी पूछ लेना तुम लोग कि डार्क एजेस वाले बता दें. तो डार्क एजेस में व्हाट वाज द फीचर इन द इटालियन सोसाइटी, इन दैट ग्रीक सोसाइटी? हाँ, व्हाट वाज देयर? फ्यूडलिज्म वाज देयर. ठीक है? फ्यूडलिज्म कैन बी सेड एज द begin after the dark age, ठीक है. तो dark age is also known as the barbaric age, ठीक है. Barbaric age इसलिए बोलते थे कि लोग were after each other, ठीक है, and so many fights were happening for the cause of the land, so that one can acquire the land and do the agriculture or whatever, ठीक है. So that was the dark ages, and so many rulers emerged in that period in the Europe, ठीक है. So on the basis of the same, you will get a question. Yeah, they can give you a question that the post-Maurya period can be seen as the dark age of the Indian history, but it is not like that, okay? Though it is similar to the many dynasties emerged in India, okay? But it is not as barbaric as it was in the Western Europe, ठीक है, या Western world. Then अपने answers को elaborate कैसे करोगे? Here they didn't wait for the barbaric fights, but they accepted Hinduism, they accepted Buddhism, those who came from the other regions, ठीक है? They accepted, then they trade flourished. अभी slowly जब chapters cover होंगे ना, तो कुशांडास में और बाकी सब में, तो you will be able to write the points. तो trade flourished, ठीक है? They married to the Indian people, they inhabited the same region, and they started to patronize the Indian culture. Satavahan started to patronize, then Sunga started to, so everyone started to patronize. Though some barbaric rulers were there, but not all of them can be categorized in the same category. So though it has a similarity that many small dynasties emerged in the post-Maurya period, which is similar to the Western Europe in the Dark Ages, but it cannot be said that all the rulers were barbaric and this was the Dark Age, because it led to the development in the trade, culture, architecture, everything, ठीक है? So you can always write about the art and architecture, culture, जैसे Mahayan Buddhism. You can write about the sculpture making, Gandhara, Mathura, everything. So art was also flourishing. But at that point of time when this was happening in the world history, over there in the western part of the world, so no art was flourishing. Only fight was going over there, ठीक है? लोग सिर्फ एक दूसरे को मारपीट करते थे and nothing was there, ठीक है? So this kind of question can be formed. I expect that this kind of question comparison can be given. Time period of Dark Ages, just Renaissance. When was the Renaissance? 1500 to?
उससे पहले सर 1600 to 1500 it is known as Middle Age.
1600 to is the Middle Age. ठीक है? Dark Age, I think just after this church, when church emerged as the most important, 1000 to I think 1000 to 1600 in between can be considered as the Dark Ages. एक बार लेकिन वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री में कंफर्म कर लेना सर से भी, तुम अपने एंड पे भी देख सकते हो, यू कैन ऑलवेज सी. बट मैं नेक्स्ट क्लास में एक बार फिर से डार्क एजेस को एज वाइज तीनों डिवाइड करवा दूंगा कि व्हेन वाज द रेनासा, ठीक है? अगर जो क्लासेस में नहीं हुए तो आई विल डू एट माय ओन, ठीक है? कि रेनासा एज, व्हेन वाज द रेनासा एज, व्हेन वाज द डार्क एज, ठीक है? दीज ऑल विल आई विल क्लासिफाई. बट नोट्स में आपके है वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री के, आई थिंक इट इज देयर, ठीक है? तो उसमें एक बार देख लेना. सर मे भी हो सकता है लास्ट में पढ़ाया उसको, अभी नहीं पढ़ाया होगा, but he will cover it in the last. So post-Maurya you got to know. So this post-Maurya, so several indigenous and in this post-Maurya period what happened? Ki several indigenous dynasties emerged and then many foreigners, ठीक है? तो many foreigners also came to India, ठीक है? And how we are going to proceed in this chapter? So first we will talk about these foreigners, ठीक है? And first we'll talk about these foreigners, that who all were the foreigners who came to India, and then we'll talk about the indigenous dynasty. Okay? So this indigenous dynasty, one of the indigenous dynasty was your Sunga. Okay? And who was there in the Magad. But by the last ruler of the Magad, who was the Brihadrat, तो जो पूरा stretch था मगध रूल का, ठीक है? सिंबॉलिक आई एम मेकिंग, ठीक है? तो ये पूरे स्ट्रेच में मगध गॉट कन्फाइंड टू दिस प्लेस ओनली, ठीक है? और अशोका के टाइम पे दिस वाज लाइक दिस वन, ठीक है? दिस वाज लाइक दिस वन इन अशोका's टाइम, बट आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ अशोका इट गॉट कन्फाइंड टू दिस प्लेस ओनली, ठीक है? सो वी विल टॉक अबाउट द सेवरल इंडिजिनस डायनेस्टीज, सुंगास, एंड सुंगा को किसने फॉलो किया? तो कनवास विल टॉक, ठीक है? And then further onwards we'll talk. But for here we need to talk about the foreigners. First we'll talk about the Indo-Greeks, ठीक है? And then after Indo-Greeks we'll talk about the Sakas and then Kushandas, ठीक है? So these three are the most important. And then further we'll talk about the over here Sunga, Kanwas and Satvahans. ठीक है. So Satvahans will talk over here in the indigenous dynasty. ठीक है. So you write on the debris of the Mauryan Empire. On the debris of Mauryan Empire, several indigenous dynasties emerged. Several indigenous dynasties emerged, which were confined. Several indigenous dynasties emerged, which were confined to a limited space. Which were confined to a limited space. ठीक है, full stop. Then you write. Besides this, several tribesmen and foreigners. Several tribesmen and foreigners also started. Several tribesmen and foreigners also started to move in India. Started to move in India, not in towards India. That is incorrect article. बोलते वक्त नहीं ध्यान होता है, so you need to correct it. And मुझे एक चीज़ याद आया कि many people used to ask कि मेंस के जब आंसर we are writing the answers, ठीक है. So in GS paper what you need to do related to the grammatical errors, and in essay paper what you need to do. So if you are doing the grammatical errors in the GS paper, that can be forgiven, ठीक है. That is not a big issue. If you have a science optional, that is not a big issue. But if you have an humanities optional, ठीक है, like if you have a sociology, it is unforgivable. ठीक है. You cannot do a grammatical error in sociology. If it is a political science, you cannot do the grammatical error, unforgivable. Then if it is a anthropology, you can do the grammatical errors. ठीक है. If it is history, you cannot. ठीक है. If it is geography, you can do grammatical errors. That is not required. ठीक है. So that's how you need to go. And if it is essay, so it is a crime. Yes. So in essays, you cannot do a grammatical error. So you always keep a scope in essays that you are going back and revising that where grammatical errors are there, and you need to polish that also. And even in essays, you need to take care of the commas, hyphens. ठीक है. If you are doing that thing, so you'll be getting, at least you'll be getting 10 to 5 marks extra. ठीक है. So essays में ये practice रखना, और हमेशा 5 मिनट का scope रखना कि एटलीस्ट यू आर रिवाइजिंग. अगर जो बहुत जल्दी भी हो गया या लेट हो गया पेपर करने में, तो एटलीस्ट फर्स्ट पैरा ऑफ द एसे एंड लास्ट पैरा ऑफ द एसे, इंट्रोडक्शन एंड कंक्लूजन मस्ट बी पॉलिश्ड. ग्रामेटिकली तो पूरा करेक्ट होना चाहिए, बट दैट मस्ट बी पॉलिश. पॉलिश का मतलब होता है कि इन फर्स्ट एंड लास्ट पैरा यू नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ द कॉमाज ऑल्सो. ठीक है. सो ग्रामेटिकल एरर्स उसमें मत करना. दैट इज अ काइंड ऑफ अनफॉरगिवेबल एंड क्राइम. सो एंड हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव सोशियोलॉजी, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, पॉल साइंस? A lot many of you. So you also need to take care of the same. Okay, grammatical errors are kind of unforgivable. And in all the subjects from the humanities, those who have sociology, they are on the microscope. Rest of them are on the lens, but sociology is on the microscope. Okay. So several and और कौन सा? Philosophy. No, philosophy is Indian subject. Here, grammatical it doesn't have any rule. ठीक है. So it is an Indian subject. And more philosophy earlier पहले क्या होता था कि philosophy में those who were from the Hindi background, ठीक है, those who used to write it in Hindi, they used to get good marks. But अभी क्या है कि थोड़े teachers अच्छे आ गए हैं market में. So हाँ. No, I know about the teachers. I cannot talk about them over here, but after the class I can talk about them. But yes, so philosophy, but when this good English teachers came, so people used to get good marks in English. Okay. So, but earlier only Hindi people used to get. And even you must be knowing that so many facts are needed to be memorized, and that too are in Hindi or Sanskrit. ठीक है. Slokas which are there. तो उस वजह से क्या होता है कि उसमें इतना grammar का रोल थोड़ा सा हट जाता है. ठीक है. So several indigenous dynasty and this were there. So first we'll talk about, as I said, that first we'll talk about the foreigners who came to India. So first to arrive in India were the Indo-Greeks. Okay? And इसमें सुनना, first you listen that who were there. So first to arrive were the Indo-Greeks, and in this Demetrius I, okay? Demetrius I was the first one to arrive, and most important, only the name you need to know, Demetrius I. And after Demetrius I, the most powerful Indo-Greek who arrived in India was Menander. Okay? So Menander was the most powerful, and his rule is known for something that we'll talk. But this Indo-Greeks, the major feature of the Indo-Greeks was what? That they were the first people to issue gold coins. So before them, there was no gold coin. Okay? There was no issuance of the gold coins, and they were the first people to issue the gold coin. Okay? Then after coming to India, Demetrius and Menander both issued the gold coin. Okay? And he was there for the long time. And when this Menander came to India, so he established his capital at Shakala. Okay? Shakala is the modern day Sialkot of the Pakistan. Okay? And if you want to know a little bit more, so this is the Swat Valley, Punjab to Swat Valley region. Okay? So Punjab to Swat Valley region is the Sialkot. So when he came to India, he established his rule over here in Sakala and Sialkot, and then he was persuaded by a Buddhist monk. The name of the monk was your Nagasen. Okay? So he was persuaded by a Buddhist monk, Nagasen, and in this process of the persuasion, Menander asked thousands of the questions to the Nagasen. Okay? And Nagasen was able to reply it in a very good manner. Okay? He was able to satisfy the Menander for each of his questions. And when he was able to satisfy Menander on each of his questions, so he accepted Buddhism. Okay? And not just he accepted Buddhism, but he also changed his name to Milind. Okay? So, and this is written in a book which is Milind Panno. Okay? So, likho ki Indo-Greeks were the first people. Indo-Greeks were the first people to arrive from the western side. To arrive from the western side. Western side. Then you write Demetrius I was the initial ruler. Demetrius I was the initial ruler, but the most important Indo-Greek ruler was Menander. And he was there in 165 BC to 145 BC. Okay? So it is the same period around which Pushyamitra Sung was there. Okay? 185 BC Pushyamitra Sung was there. So he was there in the 165 BC. Okay? Then you write, he established his capital at Sakala. Menander के बारे में we are talking about. So he established his capital at Sakala, and brackets में लिख लेना modern day Sialkot in Pakistan. Sakala, ठीक है? Then further right, he was persuaded by a Buddhist monk Nagasen. He was persuaded by a Buddhist monk Nagasen. Who in the process asked many questions pertaining to Buddhism. Okay? Then further right, Nagasen was able to give convincing answers. Nagasen was able to give convincing answer to every query of Menander, to every query of Menander. Full stop. Menander. Then further right, as such, he accepted Buddhism. As such, he accepted Buddhism and changed his name to Milind. To Milind, ठीक है? Then you write, this is written in a book. This is written in a book named as Milinda Panno. Milinda Panno. This is written in the book Milinda Panno. Milind Panno. ठीक है? Then you write, you change paragraph and you write in the same. Indo-Greeks were the first people. Indo-Greeks were the first people to issue gold coins. To issue gold coins. And you underline this portion, okay? This line, that gold coins, so they were the first people to issue the gold coins, okay? So over here we are stopping, and after that we'll cover the Saka and then Kanishka, okay? So you can go on a break for 5, 6, 7 minutes. So sab jod mat lena, 5, 6, 7. So should we start? So after this, what we need to see. So these were the first were the Indo-Greeks, and then next were the Sakas. Okay. So next were the Saka ruler. So first we need to discuss a little bit about the Sakas. So these Saka was also, they were a kind of a tribesman who came from the western side of the world, either Persia, okay, Central Asia. Central Asia say Kushanas came, but just beneath the Central Asians, these Sakas were there. Okay? So these Sakas also came to India at that point of time, and they did had one very important ruler, and whose name was your Rudra Daman. Okay? So we will be talking about the Rudra Daman, and many things are associated with the Rudra Daman. So you write, next to the Indo-Greeks were Saka rulers. Were Saka rulers. Were the Saka rulers. They started to arrive in India around 90 BC. They started to arrive in India around 90 BC. 90 BC. 90 BC. Then you write, the most important ruler of the Saka, was Rudra Daman. The most important ruler of the Saka was Rudra Daman. Rudra Daman. So two things are important as far as Rudra Daman is concerned. So before Rudra Daman, okay, as we discussed yesterday, kal discuss kiya tha na, I think we talked about this Shruti tradition and all these things, Veda. So Rudra Daman was the first person to write an inscription in Sanskrit. Okay? He was the first person to write an inscription in Sanskrit, and that too chaste Sanskrit. Okay? And chaste matlab pure Sanskrit. And that was the inscription was, which script it was there? Yes, it was in Brahmi. No. It was in Brahmi, but a deferred version of the Brahmi. Okay? We will talk about the same later how it got changed. So it was in the Brahmi script, but it was in the pure Sanskrit. Okay? And this inscription is known as Junagadh inscription. Okay? So Junagadh inscription. And in this inscription, what is there in this inscription? So many times UPSC asks from the inscriptions. So in this inscription, he has talked about two things. One thing is that how he defeated one of the Satavahana rulers, Satkarni. So in this, twice defeat of Satkarni is there, is mentioned twice defeat of Satavahana ruler Satkarni. And I am writing it over here, Satkarni. And then second was that he repaired Sudarshan Lake. That is the one thing that is written over here. So he repaired Sudarshan Lake. So we'll be talking about this Sudarshan Lake, that who made that Sudarshan Lake. इसी inscription में बात करेंगे, ठीक है? So twice he defeated the Satavahana ruler Satkarni, and it is also mentioned that every time when he defeated Satkarni, he spared his life. He didn't kill him. Okay? So he didn't kill him because what was the reason behind that? Because a kind of matrimonial alliance was there between the Saka ruler and the Satavahana. So just respecting that matrimonial alliance, he didn't killed Satkarni. Okay? So that is there. Then further, the next thing he talked about that is he repaired the Sudarshan Lake. So we need to know that what was this Sudarshan Lake. So Sudarshan Lake was a kind of a dam. Okay? This was a kind of a dam which was not made by the Rudradaman. It was made by whom? Chandragupta Maurya. Okay? So this Sudarshan Lake was made by the Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was the ruler, but specifically it was made by the one about whom I talked. Okay? The brother of the Chandragupta Maurya, who was the ruler of the governor of the Gujarat, Pushyagupta. Okay? So brother of the Chandragupta Maurya, Pushyagupta made this, and this was the only major dam in that area which facilitated for the irrigation. Okay? So this is one of the very important dam which was there, and this dam was repaired by not just by the Rudradaman but also Gupta ruler. तो वो भी इसी inscription में आगे फिर then when Gupta rulers came into being, तो they also wrote in the same inscription. नीचे की तरफ जो space बचा होगा, they also wrote about the same, that we also repaired this lake. ठीक है? So you write क्या लिखा था कि Rudradaman was the most important ruler. Then you write he was the first ruler. He was the first ruler. To write in chaste Sanskrit. He was first ruler to write in chaste Sanskrit. In the inscription of chaste Sanskrit, यानी कि pure Sanskrit. In the inscription of Junagadh. To write in chaste Sanskrit in the inscription of Junagadh. ठीक है? And then अब Junagadh inscription एक अलग heading, sub heading देके, and then you write Junagadh inscription you write, और उसके बाद then लिखना in this inscription what is given. So you write this inscription mentions twice defeat of Satavahan ruler Satkarni. Satavahan ruler Satkarni, twice defeat of Satavahan ruler Satkarni by Rudradaman. Then further right, it also mentions that Rudradaman was pious. Pious means Rudradaman was pious. Pious means he was pure. Okay? He was not a kind of extremist. Okay? So Rudradaman was pious and he spared the life of Satkarni. Was pious and he spared the life of Satkarni and respected matrimonial alliance between the two kingdoms. Respected the matrimonial alliance between the two kingdoms. ठीक है? Then you change the paragraph and then further write about the same inscription. So you write, this inscription also mentions that Rudradaman, this inscription also mentions that Rudradaman repaired the Sudarshan Lake the Sudarshan Lake, which was made by, repaired the Sudarshan Lake, which was made by Maurya governor, Pushyagupta. Which was made by Maurya's governor Pushyagupta. And in brackets you can always write Chandragupta's brother. ठीक है? तो Chandragupta's Maurya brother, Pushyagupta. ठीक है? So this was there. Then इसमें एक और चीज we need to add, because in Gupta period फिर वापस जूनागढ़ inscription लिखेंगे. ठीक है? तो rather than writing over there, we need to write. So you write, फिर paragraph change करके लिखना. Another addition to the Junagadh inscription, another addition to Junagadh inscription was made by Gupta ruler Skandagupta. Another addition to this inscription was made by Gupta ruler inscription, who writes that he also repaired Sudarshan Lake. ठीक है? So every time and again this was repaired. ठीक है? तो first it was made by Pushyagupta. First repairment was done by the Rudradaman and second repairment was done by the Skandagupta. Okay? So this was in the Junagadh inscription. Then Sanskrit also you got to know that this was the first time that something was written in the chaste Sanskrit, pure Sanskrit. Okay? So that is there. Then after this Sakas, next important rulers were your Kushanas, okay, who came from the Central Asia and they defeated the Sakas in India. Okay? They defeated the Sakas in the western part of India, not western, northern part of the India, particularly Kashmir and this Takshashila, Peshawar part of that point of time. Peshawar was the part of India. So Peshawar and Kashmir part of that, they defeated the Saka rulers over there, and then they established their rule. And these dynasties, so there are many more things that we need to talk about these foreigners. So there was one thing known as Satrap system. First we need to know about the Satrap system, Satrap or Chhatrap system. So uske pehle, before moving into the Kushanas, we need to know about this system. Okay? So Satrap system, okay? There was this system, and what was this Chhatrap system? That this Central Asian tribesmen like Kushanas who came into India, they used to follow the Satrap system. Okay? And also Indo-Greeks also, many of the Indo-Greeks, they also followed the Satrap system. Okay? So what was this Satrap system that we need to know? So this Satrap system or Chhatrap system, ये दोनों में से कुछ भी हो सकता है, ठीक है? Both are correct. So what was this? That this was a joint rule by king, Yuvraj, yeah, prince, and governors. ठीक है? So power was divided into in between these people. ठीक है? तो joint rule by, and many a times there used to be two rulers. ठीक है? तो कभी कभी एक साथ में दो rulers होते थे. ठीक है? तो that is a kind of a joint rule, and power is divided in between the many people. That means that ki king, prince, and governor. तो governor is autonomous in their region. ठीक है? They can be autonomous. Like अभी आज का case क्या है? What is the case today in the LG? ठीक है? So LG is the final in the Delhi. But here what will happen? कि if LG is there, तो LG governor would be different. He will be a kind of autonomous ruler, and then chief minister would be a kind of autonomous ruler. तो दोनों को एक दूसरे पे depend नहीं करना होगा. Other system में क्या होता है? Those who don't follow the Chhatrap system, तो king is the head, ठीक है? And under whom used to come the princes or governors. ठीक है? So there is no such system. He is only in this system, he is only the first among the peers. ठीक है? So that kind of system that can be said. So that was the Chhatrap system. And Indo-Greeks and Central Asian, they used to follow the Chhatrap system, which is the joint rule of the joint rule by the king, prince and governors. ठीक है? So you write कि next to arrive in Indian territory, were Central Asians. ठीक है? Then you write, they used to follow the Chhatrap system of government. They used to follow the Chhatrap या Satrap. ठीक है? They used to follow the Chhatrap system of government in which joint rule by king, prince and governors used to happen. Joint rule by king, prince and governors used to happen. So they were a kind of independent also, autonomous also, independent also. ठीक है? Only thing that they need to recognize that there is a king and we serve to that king. So that was a kind of only that orally that could be there, but they were a kind of original decision makers in their area. ठीक है? So that was their Chhatrap system. Then further you write, Indo-Greeks also followed the Chhatrap system. Indo-Greeks also, हाँ, Central Asian अभी लिखा ना, also followed this Chhatrap system. ठीक है? Indo-Greeks also followed Chhatrap system. But their Chhatrap system was not that much manifested in India. As such, it was there in the Kushana period. So now we are coming to the Kushanas. And who were these Kushanas? So here onwards, the coins start. So Kushanas were the rulers who came from the Central Asia. Okay? And they were the Central Asian tribesmen. And particularly what is said that they belong to a particular tribe. The name of the tribe is your UAG. UAG, and they used to describe it as UHE tribe. Okay? So they belong to this UHE tribe from the Central Asia. Okay? And these Kushana rulers. So when they came to India, so their first ruler was Cadphice. Okay? Cadphice I. So he was the first ruler, and he was Cadphice I. अभी लिखना नहीं. He was followed by Vim Cadphice. Okay? So he was followed by Vim Cadphice, and Vim Cadphice was the one person who is known for issuing so many gold coins in India. Kushana ruler Kanishk is also known for the same, but he was the first person to issue from the Central Asian tribes. He was the first person to issue gold coins. Okay? And we will talk about the nature of the gold coins which were there in the Vim Cadphice time. Okay? And then his son was your Kanishk. Okay? So Kanishk was the next ruler, and he was the most important ruler of the Kushana dynasty, who defeated one of the Saka ruler in that area in 78 CE. Okay? In 78 CE. And after defeating that, he started the Shaka era. Okay? He defeated the Saka ruler and started the Saka era to commemorate the victory of Kanishk over the Saka ruler. Okay? So that Saka era is the original year followed by the Government of India. So Government of India follows the Saka era which got started over there. Okay? So Sak Sambat. हाँ, Sak Sambat we used to say. Okay? So इसमें लिखो क्या लिखा था कि Chhatrap system Indo-Greeks you have written. ठीक है? Then you write कि few Central Asian tribesmen from the UHE tribe, few Central Asian people लिखना, few Central Asian people from UHE tribe started to invade India. And established their Kushana dynasty. Established their Kushana dynasty. Kushana dynasty. Okay? Then you write, see, these names you are writing, but Cadify's one founder, I think that they are going to be very important. But the things that if Wim Cadify's is there, so his contribution, if he has any contribution, that contribution is important, not their names. Okay? So if at all, if you are able to remember their name, that is okay. But he is not at all important. But just to make the things connected, you are writing this one. Okay? So you write, so it was founded by Cadify's one. It was founded by Cadify's one, followed by Wim Cadify's, followed by Wim Cadify's. Wim Cadify's, ठीक है? Then further you write, उसमें आगे लिखो कि he was the first, Wim Cadify's was the first Central Asian. Wim Cadify's was the first Central Asian to issue gold coins. To issue gold coins. To issue gold coins. Okay? Then what we used to get from the information that we used to get from that gold coin of the Wim Cadify's. So there were two things that this coins, what they suggest, that these coins of the Wim Cadify's, they suggest that they are, these people, these Central Asians, they were the followers of the Shiva. Okay? So, they issued. First Central Asians. Central Asian में पहले लोग थे जिन्होंने गोल्ड कॉइन, स्टेटमेंट को एक बार फिर से पढ़ना. फर्स्ट सेंट्रल एशियन, ठीक है. एंड इंडो ग्रीक्स वेर द फर्स्ट पर्सन, they were the first person, okay, in India who issued gold coins. But out of the Central Asians who moved towards the other part of the world, they were the first people to issue, first Central Asian people to issue the gold coin. Okay? So difference कर पा रहे हो ना दोनों words में, ठीक है? हाँ, ये फर्स्ट की वजह से थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट हो सकता है, बट दे वर द फर्स्ट सेंट्रल एशियन. ठीक है. देन यू कम टू द गोल्ड कॉइन्स. तो देयर गोल्ड कॉइन्स, so the Wim Cadify's also released some gold coins. So on the two sides of the coins, what were there? So on one side of the, on the obverse side of the coin, पहले सुन लो, ठीक है. So on the obverse side of the coin, what was there? That there used to happen the king, ठीक है. तो one image of the king, and this king is either with the, he is either with a chariot or he is sitting on an altar. ठीक है. altar you know? हाँ, क्या होता है altar? हाँ बिल्कुल, ठीक है. हाँ हाँ, काइंड ऑफ हवन कुंड और सैक्रिफाइस जहाँ पे होता है, ठीक है. सो ही इज विद द दैट altar और आइदर with a chariot, ठीक है, on the outward side. And on the reverse side, ठीक है, in many of the coins of the Wim Cadify's, on the reverse side, there used to happen one person, ठीक है, and that person is with a trident, ठीक है. What is trident? Trishul, ठीक है. So that person is just standing with a trident, and there is a bull in that figure, ठीक है. So which suggests that ki it was the image of the Shiva, ठीक है, and they were the followers of the Shiva. And this is how from these coins we used to get the information about the Meluha that you have heard about. ठीक है. So Meluha was the region, was the first region where Shiva was worshipped, and Meluha is identified with the present day Tibet, Central Asia. हाँ, Sakas were also, Sakas were Hindu. There were always, Sakas के बारे में स्टोरी ये है कि Sakas married to a Hindu woman, ठीक है. They married to a Hindu woman, and then they got converted into the Hinduism. They never accepted Buddhism or Jainism, and there is no such reference to the Buddhism or Jainism, ठीक है. They were Hindus. They accepted Hinduism. They were the Scythians, ठीक है. They were the Scythians. I deliberately just removed that portion because that is not required. They were the Scythians. Initially, SCITHIANS, ठीक है. So that is not required, ठीक है. Many places you will see that, and many places you will not see that, ठीक है. So Sakas, this Rudradaman, the one that we talked about, he also accepted Hinduism after coming to India, married a Hindu woman, and then afterwards he followed the policies of the Hinduism. And that's how he established the relations with the Satavahanas. Satavahans they were the Brahmins, and they are also considered as the Satavahans as degenerate sons of the Vishwamitra. Okay? So They were also Brahmin. So that's how he established. So you come over here. So first you focus on the coins. इस साल question आ गया तो इसलिए ज़्यादा focus करेंगे. So our side there was the king, and then on the other side there was this person with the trident and the bull, which is identified as a Shiva. ठीक है? So it means that कि they were the followers of the Shiva. ठीक है? And then after this came your Kanishk, who was the most important ruler, and initially he was a Saivite, and later he converted to the Buddhism. So we'll talk about that how he converted to the Buddhism. So that is the one. So क्या लिखा था कि first followed by the Vima Cadphies, ठीक है? Then you write Vim Cadphies issued gold coins, full stop. Then you write on the obverse side of the coin. Obverse मतलब one side and reverse मतलब उल्टा side, ठीक है? तो on the obverse side of the coin, image of king with chariot, image of king with chariot, or image of king with chariot, or image of king on an altar, or image of king on altar was made. altar को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? हाँ नहीं, वेदी.
तो संस्कृत में हिंदी
हाँ, हवन कुंड बोलते हैं, बट हवन कुंड में सैक्रिफाइस नहीं होता होगा. अच्छा, वेदी. हाँ, वेदी हिंदी भी हो गया और इंग्लिश भी हो गया. ठीक है, चलो ये इसको यहाँ छोड़ देते हैं. सो ऑन द ऑफवर्ड साइड this image of the king either with the chariot or he sitting in an altar. ठीक है? Then you write on the reverse side of the coin, a person is standing with a trident. A person is standing with a trident, along with a bull, which suggests the image of Shiva. अच्छा, एक और चीज है. There is one more thing, that how we used to get the information that they were the followers of the Shiva. That one is the coin, ठीक है, and second is that Vima Cadphies, he take the title of the Maheshwar. ठीक है? So Maheshwar is the Shiva. ठीक है? So image of the Shiva. Then you write Vima Cadphies also took the title of Maheshwar, and that is how Maheshwar is coming into the wing. ठीक है? तो Maheshwar, Vima Cadphies also took the title of Maheshwar, which suggests that Kushanas were Saivite. Kushanas were Saivite. ठीक है? He was Saivite. So this part of that. Then you write Vim Cadphies was followed by his son Kanishk. Vim Cadphies was followed by his son Kanishk, who was the most important ruler. Of Kushana dynasty. ठीक है? Then what about so Kanishk we need to talk. हाँ, we are going to write. ठीक है? Then you write in 78 CE. In 78 CE मतलब AD होता है. ठीक है? So Christian era. ठीक है? So in 78 CE he defeated the Saka rulers of North. He defeated the Saka rulers of North. And in order to commemorate that event, and in order to commemorate that event, he started Shaka era. He started Shaka era from 78 CE. From 78 CE, and brackets में लिख लेना. This is the national adopted by the government of India as the national calendar. ठीक है? So adopted by the government of India लिख देना. ठीक है? Official calendar of government of India. This is official calendar of the calendar year of the government of India. अभी कौन सा Gregorian होता है, लेकिन this is official. हाँ, plus this is there. But Gregorian is for the following the administration and all the other things. But issuing the that's how the budget and all these things used to happen in the new year itself. ठीक है? उसका पर्पस था. अभी चेंज किया इस गवर्नमेंट ने. तो even related to that question can be asked because this government changed to the budget. कब अब बजट का टाइम क्या हो गया? जनवरी में ना? हाँ, जनवरी लास्ट. ठीक है. Feb first week में, and last earlier it was the Feb 28th Feb. ठीक है. So before and Saka era के accordingly when does this national first day of the national year for used to be 21st या 22nd. ठीक है. यही तो, and this was the question which was asked in 2014. ठीक है. So first day of the this government of India calendar. ठीक है. So that is there. तो अभी के according ये कौन सा year होगा? 2017 plus 17. 2017 plus 78. तो कितना हो गया? We are in 2095. ठीक है. और विक्रम संवत क्या होता है? 57 AD. ठीक है. तो that is 57 AD. तो 2017 में 57. अगर जो इसके बेसिस पे कोई क्वेश्चन आता है, ठीक है. So कौन सा विक्रम संवत है? तो 2017 में अगर जो 57 you will add, तो you will arrive at विक्रम संवत. ठीक है. The present विक्रम संवत. And you need to add 17 में 78, तो that will be साक संवत. ठीक है. So ये याद रखना इतना, otherwise not much can. अच्छा, sorry, that would be minus. विक्रम संवत would be minus. ठीक है. वो minus करोगे. ठीक है. And this one would be plus. 78 would be plus and this one would be minus. हाँ, ये CE का था. This one is CE. ये CE था और ये भी CE था. ठीक है. So एक माइनस विक्रम संवत, फॉर विक्रम संवत यू माइनस 57 एंड साका माइनस करोगे, ऐड करोगे ना विक्रम संवत में. एक मिनट नहीं चेक करके नहीं, अपना लॉजिक लगा के एक बार. सब चीज तुम गूगल पे मत चेक करो. 78 माइनस करेंगे. हाँ यार, 78 माइनस करना चाहिए. एक्चुअली यही करेक्ट है. 78 माइनस करना चाहिए और 57 ऐड करना चाहिए. देखो नेगेटिव मार्किंग हो जाएगी. लॉजिकली 78 ही माइनस करना चाहिए. 78 माइनस करेंगे ना, बिकॉज 78 ईयर्स अहेड ऑफ द ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर. ठीक है. तो दैट वुड बी माइनस एंड 57. चलो एक बार घर पे जाके गूगल से कंफर्म कर लेना तुम लोग, अभी नहीं. सो
that is BC. Vikram Samvat is BC.
सो मच ऑफ कंफ्यूजन. चलो बाद में, अभी आगे कंटिन्यू करते हैं, अदरवाइज ब्रेक हो जाएगा सब कुछ. ठीक है. तो तुम लोग अपने विक्रम संवत के वो गुप्ता एरा में आएगा, अभी नहीं. ठीक है. सो वेयर आई वाज, अरे बताओ मैं कहाँ तक. हाँ, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है. देन फर्दर come to the Kushanas. What was his major role towards this particular Indian territory? So after coming to power, he accepted Buddhism. ठीक है. And he accepted Buddhism and he convened the Fourth Buddhist Council. ठीक है. So Fourth Buddhist Council, and what was the name of the place where this Fourth Buddhist Council was convened? बताओ. हाँ, it was Kundalwan in Kashmir. ठीक है. And yes, in the same year when he ascended the throne. ठीक है. तो same year when he ascended the throne, he convened this Fourth Buddhist Council. Then this Buddhist Council, there was one major feature of this Buddhist Council was that this was the first such Buddhist Council which was headed and subheaded by the two people. So there was one who was the president, Vasumitra, ठीक है, and second was your Ashwaghosh, ठीक है, and Ashwaghosh was the one who used to follow the Mahayana Buddhism, ठीक है, so he was from the Mahayana and kind of Kanishk supported to Mahayana, ठीक है, so he accepted Mahayana and then in this assembly we have talked about these much things, ठीक है, कि Ashwaghosh and these were there, but we didn't talk about the encyclopedia of the Buddhism which was written during this period, ठीक है, so there was one encyclopedia of Buddhism and the name of the same is your Mahavastu, ठीक है, so no sorry Mahavibhas, ठीक है, so Mahavibhas which is the encyclopedia of Buddhism was compiled in this assembly, ठीक है, so this was the one which happened and then after Kanishk accepted Mahayana Buddhism and then he started to patronize the sculptures, ठीक है, sculptures in the Buddhist tradition and that's how in Gandhara sculpture you will find the images of not just Buddha but also Bodhisattva. एक बार फिर से उस चैप्टर से कनेक्ट करना होगा, ठीक है, सो यू नीड टू कनेक्ट दिस ऑल बिकॉज बोधिसत्वास आर द फिगर इन द महायान बुद्धिज्म. हम लोग इस क्लास में कर चुके हैं, ठीक है, वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड. सो सिंस ही एक्सेप्टेड द महायान बुद्धिज्म आफ्टर दिस बुद्धिस्ट असेंबली, सो देन ऑनवर्ड्स ही स्टार्टेड टू पैट्रोनाइज दिस स्कल्पचर्स, गांधार, बोथ गांधार एंड मथुरा, एंड the images which were the sculptures which were patronized by the this Kanishk, you can see that images of both Buddha and Bodhisattvas would be there. If at all he would have accepted the Vasumitra version which is Hinayana, so he would not have given patronage to the images of anybody because Hinayana में no image worship was there. तो ऐसे भी एक infer कर सकते हो कि though he accepted this Mahayana and that's how he started to patronize the images of the Buddha, ठीक है. So this one you need to write कि where he accepted Mahayana Buddhism. No, Amaravati was Satavahan and Ikshavaku. Different rulers were there. हम लोगों ने साथ साथ में पढ़ा था. We talked about the same in the same chart, but we need to read it differently in the different heading, ठीक है. So लिखो कि you write Kanishk convened the fourth Buddhist council in Kashmir, in Kundalwan, Kashmir, and convened the fourth Buddhist council in Kundalwan, Kashmir. He accepted Mahayana Buddhism. He accepted Mahayana Buddhism in this council. After this council, he accepted Mahayana Buddhism after this council and started to patronize sculptures of Gandhar and Mathura. Sculptures of Gandhar and Mathura started to patronize sculptures of Gandhar and Mathura. और ब्रैकेट्स में लिखना images of Buddha and Bodhisattva. Images of Buddha and Bodhisattva. And this was the question which was asked in 2015 prelims. कि which particular branch of the Buddhism they used to create the images of या sculptures of Bodhisattva. ठीक है, तो only in Mahayana Buddhism Bodhisattvas are made, and we have already covered that who are Bodhisattvas. They are the persons who are eligible for the Nirvana, but they postpone their Nirvana to help all the sentient beings on the planet Earth. ठीक है, so they are the person who are eligible for the Nirvana. They can attain Nirvana, but they postpone the Nirvana to help all the other beings on the planet Earth. ठीक है, and what was the further thing?
Liberation for all.
Liberation for all. They were trying for the liberation for all. And after many life cycle in this Bodhisattva phase, ultimately they became one Buddha. ठीक है, so that is the Bodhisattva. So Bodhisattva are associated with the previous life of the Buddha. ठीक है, so that was the one thing. So क्या लिखा कि images of the this Buddha and Bodhisattva, ठीक है? Then you write एक और चीज लिखो कि the Encyclopedia of Buddhism, the Encyclopedia of Buddhism, Mahavibhas, the Encyclopedia of Buddhism, Mahavibhas, was also compiled in Fourth Buddhist Council. Okay, so this was about the Buddhism and all the other things. But what about the trade? Okay, trade and gold coins. So this is the first time that a very large number of gold coins were released. Okay, so very large number of gold coins were released during this period, and then few more things related to the same. How it facilitated in the trade. So you see that already we have discussed a little bit about the same. So this area particularly. So this was the region where he ruled over here till the Mathura, okay, over here. So he ruled, and this was the region where this particular route used to be there. Trade route used to be there. What is the name of that trade route? Silk Route. Okay. So the present name? OBOR. Okay. And then Chinese name? Chinese name? हाँ नहीं कर पाओगे लेकिन in 2011 why I am writing the Chinese name because in 2011 there was a question related to this Fukushima disaster, you know, Fukushima disaster. So उसके पहले ही there was this nuclear policy of this Japan, ठीक है? That nuclear policy of the Japan, so there was a Japanese name of the same. UPSC asked the same. They didn't give you in the mains. They didn't give that particular nuclear policy of the Japan, but they gave the Japanese name, okay? And they asked about the features of the same. So most of the people were knowing about the Japanese policy or the nuclear policy at the same point of time, but only because of that name, Japanese name, they were not able to write the answer, okay? So if you know this one, so they will ask you and you will write. So this particular trade route used to be there, okay? So this trade route, okay? So gold coins, this period was one of the highest level of monetization. They saw one of the highest level of monetization. मोदी जी नहीं थे नहीं तो demonetize हो गया होता, ठीक है? So monetization, and this monetization facilitated in the trade, ठीक है? It facilitated in the trade, and then further trade was happening with the Roman world, more from the Roman world, Roman and Greek world, and also from the Chinese world, okay? So what were the particular items of the trade? So basically this Kanishka, this was a kind of a pause, okay? So this was a kind of hub from where the Chinese products are coming to this place, okay? And then they are exported to the Roman world. And then Indian products are coming to this place and they are exported to the Roman world, okay? So from China specifically, silk was traded, okay? And then from India, cotton and all the other things were traded. And also from the Roman world, they used to get the coins. They used to get the gold, okay? So that was there. So you write, as far as the reign, matlab rule, REIGN, the reign of Kushanas is concerned, as far as the reign of Kushanas is concerned, highest level of monetization, Kushana is concerned, comma, highest level of monetization was attained. Okay, was attained, full stop. Then you write, a very large number of gold coins, along with large number of copper coins, were issued. Large number of copper coins were issued. Then one more thing that we need to write over here, that their gold coins were of the very superior quality, very pure quality. ठीक है? और compared to Indo-Greeks also, or compared to the Gupta rulers also. ठीक है? तो Gupta ruler में again we'll be talking about the gold coins, but Gupta rulers gold coins were not of the purest of the pure quality, but it was the purest of the pure quality. ठीक है? So you write the Kushana's coins were one of the purest kind of gold. The Kushana's coins were one of the purest kind of gold. ठीक है? Then further you write the level of monetization also suggests flourishment of trade and greater pace of urbanization in North India. Greater pace of urbanization in North India. ठीक है? Then further, one more thing you write. Kushanas established trade links with Chinese world on one side. Trade links with Chinese world on one side. And Greek and Roman world on the another side. Greek and Roman world on the another side. ठीक है? So एक तरफ Chinese world और दूसरी तरफ Greco-Roman, and that's how the Greco-Roman effect came into the Gandhara. Now you can connect the points. ठीक है? कि that's how Greco-Roman world से तो trade ये तो these were the simple trade goals, but these sculptures were also coming to this the picture. ठीक है? They were also traded over here, they were also brought over here, and that's how the artists who were influenced by this particular Greco-Roman features, and they incorporated the same into the this Gandhara sculpture. ठीक है? So that was there. Then इस रूट का नाम लिख लेना. दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इट वाज नोन एज सिल्क रूट. ठीक है? तो सिल्क रूट ही लिख लेना. ठीक है? सो यू राइट सिल्क रूट. So these were the foreign dynasties. ठीक है? Now we will talk about the indigenous ones which emerged in India at that point of time. So first in the indigenous we'll talk about the Sunga जो छोड़ा था वहाँ पे 185 BC में. ठीक है? तो we'll talk about the Sungas, and then after Sungas who followed in the Magad. ठीक है? तो after Sungas we'll talk about the Kanwas, and then Kanwas, when these Kanwas were defeated, तो Deccan का एक kingdom that was Satavahan who started to rule over that part of India. ठीक है? So Satavahans. So these three we are going to talk. ठीक है? So this indigenous dynasty. So you write several indigenous dynasties. You change the paragraph and then we'll be writing several indigenous dynasties which emerged after the decline of Mauryan Empire. Several indigenous dynasties which emerged after the decline of Mauryan Empire established their rule in North and Deccan. ठीक है? Then first among them was the Pushyamitra Sunga. ठीक है? So you write first among them was the Sunga dynasty of Magad. First among them was the Sunga dynasty of Magad. ठीक है, and it was established by whom? You have already written Pushyamitra Sung, ठीक है. So Sunga dynasty of Magad. Then what was this guy? So Pushyamitra Sung, we need to talk about this guy, that what he did. So when he came into being, so he was a Brahmin, ठीक है. So what he did, that before this Pushyamitra, you go back to the Maurya dynasty. Who were the Mauryas? They accepted. तो Mauryas में देखो, चंद्रगुप्त accepted Jainism, ठीक है. Bindusar accepted Ajivika, ठीक है. And Asoka accepted Buddhism. So no Hinduism was there, ठीक है. And most of the people who were there in their kingdom, they were till these two. Kautilya was the important person, and who was a Brahmin. And here also, after this, Asoka's also many Brahmins were there. So he was a kind of he needed to revive the Brahmanical rituals and whatever traditions which were there. So when he came into being, he revived the Brahmanic rituals. Okay? So first thing that he did, he revived the Brahmanic rituals. And one such Brahmanic ritual is your, batao, Ashwamedha. Okay? Which one? I'm going to talk about the same. Mahabhashya, Patanjali, everything. Okay? He was there in that kingdom. So he revived this Brahmanic rituals. Then further, he did 2 Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay? So he did 2 Ashwamedha Yajna. And also, he didn't stop over here, but he killed the Buddhist, okay, and destroyed the Buddhist monastery. So killed Buddhist and he destroyed Buddhist monastery. Okay? So this is the thing that he did in his period. And he was, one of his son was named as the Agni Mitra. Okay? So we will talk about him related to who there was a question in the 2015. ठीक है? तो मालविका अग्नि मित्र. तो we'll be talking about the same. तो पहले लिखो कि Pushyamitra after coming into being, Pushyamitra after coming into being revived the practice of Vedic sacrifices. Revived the practice of Vedic sacrifices and Brahmanic rituals. And Brahmanic rituals. Okay? Then further you write, he is said to have organized 2 Ashwamedha Yajna. 2 Ashwamedha Yajna. He is said to have organized 2 Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay? Full stop. Then you write, he killed those who followed Buddhism. He killed those who followed Buddhism. He killed those who followed Buddhism and also destroyed many Buddhist monasteries. And also destroyed many Buddhist monasteries. Okay? Then you change paragraph and in a point format you write, Patanjali was the contemporary of Pushyamitra Sung. Patanjali was the contemporary and he was the priest of this dynasty. Okay? So Patanjali was the contemporary of the Pushyamitra Sung. And what was his contribution? What he wrote? Patanjali? Mahabhashya and also Yoga Sutra. 2 books. Okay? So one was your Yoga Sutra. So Yoga Sutra is about the yoga and yoga philosophy. That is related to the yoga philosophy. And then Mahabhashya. What about Mahabhashya? Very good. Okay? That is the commentary on the Padini's Ashtadhyayi. Okay? We have already written. एक बार language and literature में हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था. Which one? Sanskrit grammar. Yes, it is Sanskrit grammar, but it is a commentary on the Padini's Ashtadhyayi. Okay? So you write, Patanjali wrote Yoga Sutra and Mahabhashya. और महाभाष्य में ब्रैकेट्स में लिखना commentary on Padini's Ashtadhyayi. It is a commentary on Padini's Ashtadhyayi. Or basically, this Mahabhasa is the most important book of the Sanskrit grammar. Okay? So, Ashtadhyayi. The basic book is the Ashtadhyayi of Sanskrit grammar, and then most important book of the Sanskrit grammar is the Mahabhashya. Okay? Then this Pushyamitra Sung, he was followed by his son Agnimitra, and we only know about Agnimitra related to his affairs. Okay? So, his affair with the Malvika. Okay? And this affair is written in a book called Malvika Agnimitra, written by Kalidas. Okay? So you write, Pushyamitra was followed by Agnimitra, whose affair with Malvika is written in book. Pushyamitra was followed by his son Agnimitra, whose affairs with Malvika is elaborated in a book, Malvika Agnimitra. Elaborated in a book, Malvika Agnimitra, by Kalidas. Okay? So, Kalidas, he wrote about the same. Then, what else we need to write about the last king of this dynasty? So, you write, the last king of the dynasty was Devabhuti. The last king of this dynasty was Devabhuti, who was killed by his own minister, Devabhuti, who was killed by his own minister, Vasudeva Kanva, who was killed by his own minister, Vasudev Kanva. Vasudev Kanva. Okay? So, Devabhuti was killed by his own minister, Vasudev Kanva. And Kanva was also a Brahman. Okay? This Vasudev Kanva, he was also a Brahman. And though he killed this last ruler Devabhuti, but he didn't stop the practice which were there in this kingdom, Sunga dynasty. So he followed that same policy of the revival of the Brahmanical religion and giving support to the Brahmins. Okay? So that was there. But one of the major event in this Vasudev Kanva's rule was that many foreigners accepted Hinduism in his rule. Okay? And one of the Greek ambassador whose name was, किसी को पता है? So one of the Greek ambassador whose name was Heliodorus, he accepted Hinduism and started to worship Vishnu. Okay? So Heliodorus accepted in his rule, he accepted Hinduism, and he not just accepted Hinduism, but he also erected a pillar. Okay? He also erected a pillar related to the Vishnu worship, and that is the first archaeological evidence of the Vishnu worship in India. Okay? So this happened in the Vasudev Kanva period, and he was the only most important ruler of this dynasty. Okay? So you write कि क्या लिखा था? Devabhuti was killed by his own minister Vasudev Kanva. Okay? Then you write Vasudev Kanva carried followed the policy of supporting Brahmins and Brahmanic rituals. Brahmins and Brahmanic rituals. Then further right. Under the Vasudev Kanva, many foreigners accepted Hinduism. Bhagavad is Vishnu. The same Garud Dhwaj, the pillar, name of the pillar which we are going to write, is related to the same. So you write आगे लिखो. कि one of the Greek ambassador Heliodorus, one of the Greek ambassador Heliodorus accepted Vaishnavism. Accepted Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism मतलब Vishnu worship. Accepted Vaishnavism and erected a pillar. Erected a pillar at Bhilsa. Erected a pillar at Bhilsa, and Bhilsa is your modern day Vidisha. ठीक है? हाँ, MP. So, and हाँ, Sushma Swaraj is the MP from the Vidisha. So, modern day Vidisha. So, Heliodorus, he accepted Vaishnavism and then he erected a pillar at Bhilsa or Vidisha in the Madhya Pradesh to mark the worship of Vishnu or Bhagavat. To mark the worship of Vishnu or Bhagavat. ठीक है? और Bhagavat. And this pillar was known as Garud Dhwaj. ठीक है? So, you write, this pillar came to be known as Garud Dhwaj. This pillar came to be known as Garud Dhwaj. ठीक है? So, Garud Dhwaj. This was the name of the pillar. Then you write, this is the first archaeological evidence. The first, and you will underline archaeological evidence. Not a literary evidence, but it is an archaeological evidence. Okay? So, this is the first archaeological evidence of worship of Vishnu. Archaeological evidence of worship of Vishnu. Okay? Then, after this particular dynasty, next was your Satavahans. So, basically, it is not very clear that who defeated this Kanvas, but in many texts, it has been believed that they were killed by or defeated by the Satvahans, Andhra-Bhrityas or Andhras. Okay? So, the name, the Satvahans we will complete and then we will leave. Okay? So, at least Satvahans we need to complete today. And I think that anyhow, I'll convey to you people on Monday that if you need to request or not, first I'll say to them that I need one more class, because itne pace mein it is not good with my image also. That कि मैं इतना तेज से पढ़ा के और खत्म कर दूं, तो that will affect me also. So I don't want to compromise on any aspect. So we will see that if one more class would be given to me. So next was your Satvahans, ठीक है? And these were your Andhras, ठीक है? एक बार सुन लो. So Andhras, Andhra-Bhrityas और Satavahanas. So these all means the same, ठीक है? Andhra-Bhrityas और Satavahanas. ठीक है? So Andhras, Andhra-Bhritya और Satavahanas, they are the same name, ठीक है? So it is believed that these were the people who defeated the Kanvas and established their rule in the Deccan also and in north part of the India also. Okay? And they were a kind of one of the very important rulers of that time. But we do have, related to the Satavahanas, we do have very less information. And that information is also only from the Puranas. ठीक है? हाँ, only from the Puranas. From Puranas we used to get the information about the same. So कुछ उसमें बढ़ा चढ़ा के भी है, ठीक है? And then there are few inscriptions, ठीक है? Nasik inscription we will talk, ठीक है? तो Gautami Balasari inscription of the Nasik, ठीक है? So we will talk about the same inscription and what is written in the inscription, ठीक है? So these are the places from where we get the information. So you write कि Kanvas were defeated by Satvahans. And in brackets you write Andhra or Andhra-Bhrityas, ठीक है? सतवाहन में Sunga के just बाद it was a different dynasty, ठीक है? But both were Brahmins. Sunga was also a Brahmin and Kanva was also a Brahmin, ठीक है? So तुम चाहो तो उसको अलग भी रख सकते हो, ठीक है? But this was a different dynasty. बस उतना ही है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं है. Vasudev Kanva and not more than that. अभी तो तुम लोग घर पे जब लेके जाओगे नोट्स एंड देन यू विल सी कि याद कैसे होगा, ठीक है. सो दैट विल बी डिफिकल्ट, बट इवन उससे भी ज्यादा है, बुक्स में भी उससे ज्यादा है, ठीक है, बहुत ज्यादा है, ठीक है. सो बट ये स्टेज वाइज प्रिपरेशन होता है. दिस preparation is a kind of that first you are what you are learning over here, then you will be giving one prelims, ठीक है, then you will be assessing your knowledge, then according to that knowledge you will be doing the value addition, and many people will clear in that attempt only, ठीक है. So those who will be left there will be they will be preparing for the prelims and then they will be doing the value addition, ठीक है. So I'll say that कि वहाँ पे भी cost benefit analysis करके ही value addition करना है, ठीक है. So whatever you are reading over here and whatever books that has been suggested to you, you will be able to at least solve, you will be able to at least 85 to 90% of the questions you will be able to solve. एक क्वेश्चन के लिए मरने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है. हाँ, मतलब एक क्वेश्चन मेंस के पार्ट पे तैयारी कर लो, ऐसे मेंस के पार्ट पे तैयारी कर लो एक क्वेश्चन को, और इसमें जो भी स्टैटिक पोर्शन है उसको अच्छे से पढ़ लो, एंड नेवर कॉम्प्रोमाइज विद द करंट अफेयर्स, particularly in the prelims. If you are going to compromise with the current affairs, then you are going to compromise your PT, ठीक है. Nowadays 20-25 question, ठीक है. This year itself, last year how many questions were? 38 questions were there from the current affairs. तो कब किस year में, and even I told to you in the very beginning that current affairs is for the freshers. Those who are the freshers, it is for them that they are preparing and their chances increases if more questions are coming from the current affairs. क्योंकि जो पुराना वाला ब्रीड होता है ना, बाबा लोग वाला, तो वो लोग फिर करंट अफेयर पढ़ना छोड़ देते हैं. उन लोग को स्टैटिक पार्ट में इतना होल्ड होता है, इतना सारा नॉलेज होता है कि वो बोलते कि अरे आएगा उससे कर लेंगे, करंट अफेयर पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है. बट दैट्स हाउ यूपीएससी चेंजेस इट्स स्टांस एंड हाउ इट गिव्स द क्वेश्चंस, ठीक है. सो इनोवेशन यू कैन सी, बट करंट अफेयर्स के साथ कॉम्प्रोमाइज मत करना प्रीलिम्स में. सो दिस आंध्रभृत्यास हु एस्टैब्लिश्ड देयर रूल ओवर देयर देन in this Deccan area. So who was the founder? The initial founder of this dynasty was your Simukh, ठीक है. So you write Simukh, लिखो Simukh, Simukh. Simukh was the founder of the Satavahanas, ठीक है. Simukh was the founder of Satavahanas, ठीक है. Then few important things related to that. He was not the most important ruler, ठीक है. So Satavahanas, he was the just founder. We need to talk about two rulers, ठीक है. So Simukh was the most important ruler. Then not a founder, and then important ruler was your Hala, ठीक है. So we will be talking about the Hala, and then we will be talking about the Gautami Putra Satkarni, ठीक है. So Gautami Putra Satkarni, and he was the most important ruler, ठीक है. And there was one more ruler whose name was Vasishtha. Before Gautami Putra Satkarni, in between there was one more ruler whose name was Vasishtha Putri Satkarni. Vasishtha Putra, ठीक है. Vasisthi, it is Vasisthi Putra Satkarni. And this was the Satkarni ruler who was defeated by Rudradaman. Vasisthi Putri Satkarni. So he was the one who was defeated by Rudradaman. He was not. So Gautami Putra Satkarni was the most important ruler, ठीक है. And then these were the rulers, and contribution of Hala, that what we need to know, that contribution of Hala, that he wrote one book. The name of the book was your Gatha Saptasati, which was written in Prakrit, ठीक है. So he wrote one book. अभी लिखना नहीं, first you listen. तो Hala was the very important ruler who wrote one book. The name of the book was Gatha Saptasati, and this was written in Prakrit, and this was erotic poetry, ठीक है. So again, just like Vatsayan, so erotic poetry, ठीक है. So this was written by Hala. Then further, Vasisthi Putra Satkarni, he was defeated by Rudradaman, that is there. And then Gautami Putra Satkarni. So what we need to know about this Satkarni, that he was the first person who started to give land grants to the Brahmin, ठीक है. So This is the first time in India that land grant is given to a Brahmin. इसके पहले Brahmins को land grant नहीं होता था. अश्वमेध यज्ञ होता था. अश्वमेध यज्ञ में what was given? Cows were given, and even coins and other things, other materials were given, but land was not given. So this was the first time that land grants were given to Brahmin, and which led to the feudalism, rise of the feudalism in India. ठीक है? And which further led to the zamindari system in India in the later period. Okay? So that was the one thing. Then further, this period is also known for the innovation in the coin. Okay? So in this period, not just the silver, gold or copper coins were released, ये तीनों release हुए थे, but apart from that, lead coins were always also released during this period. So this was also a new kind of thing which appeared in India. Okay? So one was the land grants to the Brahmin, and one was the new thing was lead coins. ठीक है? So you write कि क्या लिखा था? Founder was the this Simukh. ठीक है? Then you write the next important ruler was Hala. The next important ruler was Hala. Who wrote, the next important ruler was Hala, who wrote Gatha, I have written over here, Gatha Saptasati. Who wrote Gatha Saptasati in Prakrit. Who wrote a book, Gatha Saptasati, in Prakrit. Gatha Saptasati in Prakrit. Then further you write, brackets में लिख लेना, it was a erotic love poetry. It was a erotic love poetry. ठीक है? Then another important ruler, then you write another important ruler was Vasishtiputra Satkarni. Vasishtiputra Satkarni. Vasishtiputra Satkarni, who was twice defeated by Saka ruler Rudradaman. Who was twice defeated by Saka ruler Rudradaman. Who was twice defeated by Saka ruler Rudradaman. ठीक है? Then you write the most important ruler. Okay? So you write the most important ruler of Satavahans. The most important ruler of Satavahans was Gautami Putra Satakarni. Was Gautami Putra Satakarni. Gautami Putra Satakarni. Okay? Then you see one trend in the names. First, we need to see the trend in the names. You see that here the name Vasishti. Vasishti is a female name. Gautami is a female name. Okay? So what does it suggest? That inheritance was on the matrilineal. So inheritance was on the matrilineal basis, and they always used to take the names of mother. Okay? Not the father. So you write, लिखो कि क्या लिखा था? Gautami Putra, most important. And then you write कि these Satavahans were a matrilineal dynasty. Satavahans were a matrilineal dynasty. Matrilineal dynasty. ठीक है? Then further you write, they always used to take the names of mother. They always used to take the names of mother before their name. Before their name. Before their name. Okay? Then we need to talk about this one inscription related to the Gautami Putra Satkarni. Okay? So that Nasik inscription. So you write Nasik inscription. Nasik inscription. And this was the one inscription which was asked by UPSC 10 years back. It was asked. Okay? So Nasik inscription was asked, and recently I have seen that it has been repeatedly asked in the CDS papers. ठीक है. So Nasik inscription, what is there in the Nasik inscription? So basically this inscription is related to the Gautami Putra Satkarni, ठीक है. But this inscription was not written by Gautami Putra Satkarni, but by the mother of Gautami Putra Satkarni, ठीक है. So the name of the mother of the Gautami Putra Satkarni was your Gautami Balasari, ठीक है. So she wrote this inscription, and this inscription is a kind of appreciation of the sun, ठीक है. So what she has to say in this inscription, that she describes Gautami Putra Satkarni is the protector of the Brahmanas, ठीक है. So she describes the Gautami Putra Satkarni as the protector of the Brahmanas, and then further she says the victories, she talks about the victories of the Gautami Putra Satkarni, ठीक है. So these two things are there. One is the protector of the Brahmanas, and then one of the victories of the Satkarni, ठीक है. So you write this inscription was written by mother of Satkarni, Gautami Balasari. Mother of Satkarni, Gautami Balasari, ठीक है. Where she says that Gautami Putra Satkarni is the only protector of the Brahmanas. Where she says that Gautami Putra Satkarni was the only protector of the Brahmanas. ठीक है. Then you write, she also gives account of victories. She also gives account of victories of Satkarni. She also gives account of victories of Satkarni. ठीक है. So this was about the Gautami Putra Satkarni. And then we need to talk about these practices. तो एक तो coins वाला, and then about this feudalism, ठीक है. So you write कि you change the paragraph and then you will be writing, ठीक है. So by changing the paragraph you write, start. Satavahans were the first ruler. Satavahans were the first ruler to issue lead coins. To issue lead coins for commercial transaction. For commercial transaction. And it doesn't mean that कि copper or gold or silver use नहीं होता था. It also means apart from the copper, gold and silver. So you write apart from gold, silver and copper. Apart from gold, silver and copper. ठीक है. Then again you change the paragraph and then you write. फिर से change paragraph करके लिखो. So they were also the first ruler. They were also the first ruler to start the practice of granting lands to the Brahmins. Start the practice of granting lands to the Brahmins. Which increased the powers of Brahmanas. Which increased the powers of Brahmana. ठीक है. Then further one more thing you write. This practice was also followed by the Gupta rulers. ठीक है. So when we'll be talking about the Gupta rulers, so we'll talk about the same, and that's how the feudalism emerged. ठीक है. So this practice of granting land to the Brahmanas, was also followed by Gupta rulers. Which led to the emergence of system of feudalism in India. And you underline feudalism, ठीक है. So started by Satavahanas and it reached its ultimate point in the Gupta period, ठीक है. So I think not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow we have class. Monday. So Monday we'll be starting with the this Guptas also we'll be talking about, and at the same point of time we'll be talking about the Sangama age in the Sangam literature. एक बार सुनो, ठीक है? So Sangam literature we have already covered in the language and literature. What was there in the Sangam literature? Tamil literature, ठीक है? So we talked about the Pandya rulers over there. थोड़ा बहुत mention था. But here what we are going to do in the so Sangam literature is also, it was there in the Sangama age. So we'll be talking about the Sangama age, and in Sangam age we'll talk about the Chola, Chera and Pandyas. Okay? So these are there. This would be there in the South India we'll be talking. And then after we will move to the Gupta. Okay? So एक बार पूरा सुनो कि क्या पढ़ना है, otherwise फिर then there would be confusion. So Gupta period, and after Guptas we will talk about the Harshvardhan. ठीक है? Harshvardhan, ठीक है? And then Harshvardhan, after the end of the Harshvardhan, 3 more dynasties in the India, North India. So Pala, Pratihar, and what else? Rashtrakutas. ठीक है? So this much we'll be seeing over here. And then again, after that, we'll be talking about the this Chalukyas and Pallavas in the South India. ठीक है? And in the last stage, again, one more Chola. So here, why I'm writing over here, this Chola is the early Chola. ठीक है? ये अलग dynasty है. And the one we will talk over here, in the last of the ancient, is this is mainline Chola. ठीक है? तो Chola के 2 versions हैं, that we'll see. So one in Sangama age and one in the nearby the early medieval age, we can say. In the early medieval age, this Chola. ठीक है? तो question used to come from this one also, and question used to come from this one also. ठीक है? चलो, which one? 2-3? हाँ, 2 lecture चाहिए. At least 2. And that too also